Is Trump still here? Or is he out? I think he's out of town now. He came, he saw, he conquered. Time for the debate in just a few short days. You didn't make it over to the Liacouras Center, did you?
No, I did not.
It was a rocking time, I heard. That was the word on the street.
I heard it was full. Full capacity.
Full capacity.
Yeah.
They're quibbling online over on social media about whether or not he had a full capacity arena. Looked pretty full to me.
Yeah.
And if you're arguing, you're losing in that context.
It's the stuff came out that said it was full. Like the event was sold out weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So
yeah, let's see Joe Biden do that. He can't. Nope. He can't, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Matt Rooney Show. Happy Sunday here on 1210 WPHT, reviewing the week gone by to prepare you for the week ahead. Another full program this evening. This is the pre-debate show. Debate numero uno of election 2024 coming up in just a few short days on Thursday. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Biden is at Camp David, undoubtedly juicing. Getting, who knows, maybe getting blood transfusions, whatever rich guys do.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Crushing up Viagra and snorting it.
Actually, I do have something. Think of the training scene from Rocky IV, like where Rocky is in the woods, like waist deep in snow with logs on his shoulders, and then Ivan Drago is in a lab with needles being injected into his arms and legs, and like all these blinking Star Trek computer lights all around him.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
but instead of lifting 500 pounds, Biden is getting up and out of a chair.
Right, he's standing up and out of a chair,
up and down,
leaning, like leaning back and forth into a microphone.
Yeah, occasionally
turning and lifting his hands, pointing,
enjoying some Metamucil.
Yeah,
in between reps,
and then you got the Hearts on Fire music in the background.
Oh, I hope so. It's the only way to work out.
It is.
I'll tell you the only way to listen to the Matt Rooney Show if you want my opinion. You can do it the old-fashioned way if that's what you're doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're traditionalists around here, either via your radio or over at the Odyssey app, or if you want another option where you can confirm that I am indeed as handsome as I sound, spoiler alert, I am, you can head over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, where you can participate over in the comment section as well. Susie loves Jeff. He says, hi, Matt. Just got home from the Jersey Shore. I'm glad you made it safe. There was a squall tonight. Did you have that over here in Philly?
I did. When you texted me and you said that you were coming in, I got up and I looked outside. And I was like, oh, it was pouring.
It was
bad.
Biblical. Yeah. It was like that scene in Caddyshack where the bishop gets struck by lightning. That's what was going on over on 295.
My brother-in-law and my nephew are at the movie theater right now, and he said that the power went out for 15 minutes. During like end of the previews, beginning of the movie. So,
can you imagine being stuck in a movie theater with the lights out with the people that go to the movies in 2024?
That's
terrifying.
That is terrifying.
No, thank you.
Nope.
No, I go to the movies sparingly.
Not as much. I was a big Marvel guy back in the day. Like when all the big stuff came out before.
I've never been a big Marvel guy because can I tell you why I'm not a big Marvel guy? We've got some very consequential things to get to this evening, folks. I promise. But
the important stuff is Marvel and comic books.
Right. What I'm learning is you learn something new about every producer that you have on your program. Dan Valdez, kind of freak, and I mean that in a loving way. Love you, Dan, if you're listening. Sean, much cooler than me. Henry, I don't know if Henry knew what was going on. Henry exists on another plane. Andrew's a nerd like me, right? So there's going to be some nerding out on this program until Stocker inevitably steals Andrew from me. So I'm just going to warn you in advance. I can't do the Marvel thing because it's too much commitment.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I can't.
It is a lot.
Yeah, right. Like, so I'll give you a great example. Not Marvel, but another Disney property, because we also like to dump on Disney a lot around here.
Right.
I loved the little Baby Yoda guy on Mandalorian, right? That was so cute, and I'm like, oh, something from Disney that's not trying to convince my children to go change their gender. I can get around this, right? Good acting, good story, interesting take.
Yep.
And then the season ends. I guess it was season 2. And then there's a break. And then season 3 comes back, and Grogu, I think that's the name of the
It's his name,
little
yeah.
Yoda guy, is back with the Mandalorian after he had just walked off with Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
At the end of the prior season. And I'm like,
Yep.
what's good? Because what Disney does, because they're evil, is they had an entire season of The Mandalorian, another show, because they're constantly trying to get you
With an entirely different show name.
right in a manipulative, coercive way to watch their other garbage.
That's how it works.
And so that was it for me with Disney before we even got to the Acolyte, the chanting space lesbians last week.
Gosh, please don't make me play the clip
I
again.
said, let's play it.
No.
All right, we'll wait.
No. What I got to bring it up again, but yeah.
Well, at some point.
Yeah, we'll bring it back.
But I can't do that.
No.
I want to pick a show I like. I've got limited time.
Well, and that's
I'm a very important person with lots of things to do, as we know, Andrew.
right.
And I can't watch 16 different Marvel movies, 16 different Disney franchises.
And that's the thing I was gonna say. I was a huge Marvel fan at the beginning. The first Avengers movie is classic to me. Watching it in movie theaters for the first time, I was the ultra super nerd geeking out.
Yeah.
And as things progressed and we got to Endgame and, they had all the 3 Spider-Men in the Spider-Man movie, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I have not gone back and watched, because they online you can find different things that have the order of what you're supposed to watch and how it's supposed to be watched in order. I haven't done that. I really don't have the motivation to go back and watch.
It's too much.
All the first Iron Men's and the Captain Americas and the Thors, and it's like, especially like the political view that we have of Disney now. It's like, I don't really care to go back and watch it now.
No,
no,
and
it's a shame because I would have loved. Like I'll show my kids when they're older. We'll definitely watch it, but it's like I personally I'm not invested in it anymore, pretty much at all.
Right. Well, yeah. So it's lost its rewatch value.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us that grew up on this stuff. So it's very sad.
It is.
It's very sad.
Terrible.
So we are holding out hope that maybe something happens like Elon Musk buys Disney at some point.
Heck yeah.
It's probably the best case scenario, but for now we will wait and we won't watch until things come around. What are we talking about tonight? What are we doing here?
Isn't it political talk radio?
I guess we have to.
Yeah.
I guess we have to. I guess we should because President Trump was in town.
That's right.
This weekend, we've got the debate coming up. AOC had a meltdown at the microphone. At first, I thought she was on something. I thought she maybe had some bad mushrooms or something. Because even for her, it was a performance for the ages. It was bizarre. I don't know if you've seen this video, and it's the limitation of this medium, folks, where if you haven't seen it, the best I can do is describe it and then guide you to it online. I'll retweet it for you, but we'll probably talk a little bit about that. We've got some Pride Month news. I know Pride Month is winding down. Thoughts and prayers for those of you that are going to miss it when it's over. Here's hoping that you got your Pride Month cards, your gifts, and that you're getting it all in now before the season is over and the last rainbow flag stops waving. Next month is American Pride Month. That's what we celebrate here on the Matt Rooney Show, where we talk about this greatest nation in God's creation. We have some special stuff planned. I hope you're down for it. And, we also have some other stuff cracking here in the near future. By the way, programming note, July 5th, that's a Friday. Yours truly filling in for Rich Zioli. Just mark a note there. Occasionally, when Rich is away, they let me loose on his program, and it's always a mistake. But I think we're going to do it. We're going to do it on July 5th. I'm probably going to do it from the beach. I don't think I'm going to come in here because I'll be down there, and I'm not going to feel like driving up.
Which beach?
Which beach? Oh, I can't tell people which beach.
Oh, okay.
I get swarmed by
your followers,
my fans. There's tens of them.
Well, Zioli
tens of them.
Zioli has the Zioli army. Does the Rooney Navy have a following?
The Rooney Navy.
If Rooney Air Force.
The beach chair riders.
Yeah.
Bunch of Chris Christies sitting on the beach.
With like
enjoying a beverage.
With like 100 yards of empty beach on either side of them.
Yeah, well, no, you can only pull that off if you're a governor and you shut down the beach for everybody else, but then go sit your enormous posterior on the beach and enjoy it by your lonesome. Well, with your family, right? He's always looking out for his own.
Totally not an abuse.
That guy. We can't talk about Chris Christie this early in the program because my blood pressure is going to get to an unhealthy level. 855-839-1210 is the number. By the way, if you want to call and participate, regular listeners know the rules at this point. If you want to disagree with me, you can. That's encouraged. Be prepared, though. As the old saying goes, if you want the bull, you might get the horns. But if it's on point, relates to something we're talking about, so you sound like you maybe have 2 or 3 brain cells to rub together, we might be able to get you on. You're also welcome to call in and agree with me. It's hard not to. I'm going to make a lot of sense tonight. But, I also just don't need you calling in echoing things that I'm saying. I'm on the radio for a reason and you're not, because I generally do a better job of explaining this stuff than 95% of you. That's just the nature of it. So don't call in just to repeat what I'm saying. If you want to give me an attaboy, you can give us a like over on the YouTube channel. Again, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, or show me some love over on X. Matt Rooney NJ is the handle. We've got some guests tonight joining us. In our second hour, because they're crazy enough to give us 3 hours, we've got my friend Doug Kellogg. He works with Grover Norquist over at Americans for Tax Reform, one of the big right-of-center think tanks down in Washington, D.C., working on, well, it's in the title, reforming our tax code, which, newsflash, is miserable for any of us that actually have to pay, which, based upon the most recent data, that's about half of you when it comes to federal taxation. Grover did a great piece for my website, SaveJersey.com, this week about Phil Murphy's latest tax atrocities. It's budget season in New Jersey and elsewhere. So Doug is going to join us to talk about Grover's piece. We'll be joined in the third and final hour by a young man. And I say young man, but he's like my age. But, as time goes on, it's a slide scale. The people who are my age are a little bit younger, aren't so babyish anymore, Andrew. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I'm getting that a little.
Yeah, it's coming on, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming on. But Adam Wingate was just elected chairman of the Gloucester County, New Jersey Republican Party here in our listening area. I like to talk about Gloucester County a lot on this program because Gloucester County is one of the last true swing counties in the Delaware Valley. Philadelphia, newsflash, not a swing jurisdiction, right?
It's pretty definitive what they are.
Right. Camden County, my home county, I don't think it's nearly as blue as it appears on paper because of the Norcross machine, which we'll also be talking about tonight. Some big news this week on that front. But it's you can't rightly call it purple. Gloucester County is one of those counties where Trump won it by a hair in 2016, lost it by a hair in 2020. There's some big races there this year. And I think it's one of those places that you need to watch on election night to get a sense of how well Donald Trump's going to do. It's full of ex-urban communities, some more rural communities. There's a couple, I don't think you can rightly call it an urban center, but a few more bluish areas in Gloucester. So it's a nice little mishmash of America. So if Donald Trump is winning Gloucester County by 5 points on election night, I think you can rightly reason that he's going to do pretty well. If he's losing by a few or worse, probably not a good sign. So we want to talk to Adam about what he's got planned in Gloucester County this year, what things are looking like heading into this very consequential cycle. I keep saying heading into it. We're in it, right? The days of waiting for Labor Day for elections to begin long since passed. I'm already getting whacked. I'm in New Jersey, as you well know. I'm already getting mail, Andrew, for the gubernatorial race next year.
Okay. I haven't gotten anything about that, but I have been thinking about it. I had a conversation with somebody here at the station earlier this week, or last week, I should say, and just talking about it. And we literally we looked at each other, and we were like, man, because I watched the gubernatorial debate between Mr. Chitterelli and the current governor, Phil Murphy, when it was at Rowan University.
Yeah,
I feel like that was last week or the week before. Like, it's gone by really fast for some reason. At least to me, it has. Time may have passed differently for other people, but I can remember watching the debate, and I can remember the notes and how Chitterelli did, and how everybody, you could kind of tell Governor Murphy was expecting to run away with the election, and it was pretty darn close the end.
It was pretty close. So, I mean, look, will it be close in 2025? We'll see. A lot still needs to play out.
It's going to be new candidates on both sides. So
well, and I think a big variable too is who's in the White House, right?
True, very true.
That which could have a lot to do with the general political atmosphere in which these combatants are gonna run. There's about 300 Democrats that have already announced in New Jersey, and I'm not really exaggerating.
It's crazy, and the thing is,
Sweeney's in, the head of the teachers union is in, Raz Baraka, who's the mayor of Newark, is in, the mayor of Jersey City, Steve Fulop, is in. This guy Josh Gottheimer, he's a congressman in North Jersey, is getting in. It's easier at this point to say which Democrat is not getting in, and then on the Republican side, it's getting pretty crowded as well.
Well, and the thing is too, if you go back, kind of going off of what you said back in 2017, I think one of the biggest things that got Phil Murphy elected as governor of New Jersey was the fact that throughout most of his campaign, one of the things that he was saying is, if I'm elected, every single piece of legislation that's coming out of the Trump campaign in their office, we are going to resist, we are going to fight, we're going to turn New Jersey into a sanctuary state, we're going to do this and that, going pretty much up against everything that Trump was going for in 2017 when Trump took the White House. And I think that shaped the political atmosphere in New Jersey, and it affected it in a way that was against Trump because of how he was perceived in the news and the media and everything like that. So you're spot on, at least in my perspective, when I remember it in 2017, 8 years ago, of how it's going to work out. I think we're going to see something extremely similar in the same case where if Trump's elected again, I don't think we're going to have the same outcome, though. I believe that a lot of more people are starting to side a little bit more conservative, a little bit more Republican, at least in New Jersey. And if New Jersey and if it does end up flipping red, I think that's going to extremely affect the gubernatorial election in 2025. But time will tell. We'll have to, wait and see.
Time will tell. If only we had 3 hours every week to talk about it, right? Lucky us. We have that opportunity here on the Matt Rooney Show. 855-839-1210 is the number. Let's take a break. Went a little long on the opening segment, but that's all right because it was life-changing for many of you, I know, right? I know Andrew feels like a different person. And we'll be back to kick off our first hour in fine style in just a second.
Don't miss The Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
The 4th of July on approach. Is there any better occasion than the 4th to get the Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake? Get your orders into Captain Chucky's. Make that party on the 4th one to remember and put the all-new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake on your picnic table. A delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. Check your nearest store for availability. Locations everywhere. Visit WeLoveCrabCakes.com. That's WeLoveCrabCakes.com. Visit the location nearest you. WeLoveCrabCakes.com.
Designers, excavators, engineers, architects, listen up.
What are you doing? We're working here.
If you want to save time, effort, and money on your next underground utility project, start using Pennsylvania One Call System's Coordinate PA application. Coordinate PA is the next generation of utility coordination that allows you to easily transfer and manage your complex projects from start to finish, all the way from the designer to the excavator. Be prepared for your next underground utility project with Coordinate PA.
Makes sense.
Visit pa1call.org to learn more.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. If you drive a car, you want it to last a long time and not cost you lots of money in the long run. You need to get your car serviced at United Tire and Service. I get my car serviced at one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. You should too. Right now, get an oil change on any make or model, and they'll do a free summer trip check so you're ready to hit the road. 20-point safety check, brakes, belts, important fluid levels, lights, even the spare tire. To find the location nearest you, go to UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Kids 14 and under can be a baller like Nick when they receive a Nick Castellanos basketball jersey presented by CP Rankin Roofing Experts on Sunday, July 14th at 1:35 when the A's visit CBP. Order tickets now at Phillies.com. Who said sustainable can't be stylish? All fans will receive a stylish and sustainable Phillies cap presented by PGW on Friday, July 12th at 6:40 when the A's visit CBP. Snag your seats today at Phillies.com.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows, along with no interest for 5 years. Plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
I am a father.
I am a mentor.
I am a wife.
I am an artist.
I am a husband.
I am a friend.
I am a sports fan. I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
I joke around and with my wife and call it my bionic knee.
But before Ernest became a patient with QC Kinetics, it was a different story.
I'd go to bed with my knee throbbing, heat, ice. I would get up in the middle of the night to get a drink or something, and I would just be hobbling.
He wasn't able to play on his rec basketball team or work in the yard. But QC Kinetics regenerative treatments turned around the situation without surgery or downtime, using Ernest's own healing properties to help restore his aching knee, now known as Ernest's bionic knee.
I am really happy because I am playing the game that I love so much, and I'm playing with my granddaughter, and I'm gardening, and I'm on my knees, and I'm jumping up. I have a 200-pound dog, and I'm playing with my dog.
Now Ernest is living his best life thanks to QC Kinetics, and so can you. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
All right, shall we get down to business? I think we should. We have a lot we have to cover tonight. I say this every week, but we have to step it up here. Do you have it in you, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Are you prepared?
I'm always ready.
After a full weekend of splashing around with your ducklings in a pool.
Yes, and my brother and sister-in-law's duckling.
Ah, so they're all jumping all over you.
Yes,
I had that kind of weekend too.
Yeah,
just
it's. I mean, the weather. What else can you do?
What else? Well, yeah. I mean,
you go to the shore.
I'll
but
tell you what I'd like to do.
What's that?
I would like to lay on my couch and watch Hunt for Red October for the 10,000th time with a nice,
there you go.
Cold adult beverage. But
right.
That is not the fate for those of us that have decided to reproduce. I know some Gen Zers and millennials out there are not because they're afraid the Earth is going to end in the next 5 years because Al Gore told them so.
Because Al Gore is such a positive influence on America.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well, he has
that out loud? My bad.
Well, no, he's not a positive influence on anybody. That's why Tipper left him. He's a miserable person.
Yep.
855-839-1210 is the number. Let's talk about the Trumpster coming to Temple University. He should call this his troll tour because he continues to go to places up in Michigan, urban Michigan, now in Philadelphia, where the left does not think he has any business being. He was up in the Bronx recently, right? And he's making a point. I think it's a quite brilliant decision his campaign has made here. Because even though, and let's just lay all the cards on the table here, he is genuinely hoping to win a healthy portion of the black vote, right? And there's plenty of polling evidence to suggest that he's making some headway relative to other recent Republican presidents, including himself. He's also sending a signal to predominantly white suburbanites, many of whom are woke, who, for whatever reason, despite ample evidence to the contrary, that the Democrat Party is the party that cares about black and brown people. We know that's. I was just going to say something I couldn't say on air. It's the only way to describe it. It's almost worth the FCC fine to say it. But
almost.
But hey, almost. Yeah, not really. In case Greg is listening. But take a walking tour of Philadelphia in your bulletproof jacket on a night when it's not storming or 800 degrees. Right? This is what leftism does to a once great city. This is what leftism's doing to our America. Whether you live on the border or you're dealing the consequences of the open border, or you're living in a city that's been overrun by drugs and guns and gangs. Donald Trump is taking this issue head on in 2024, and I think it's a brilliant play, and I think it's paying dividends. The polling shows that. But in case you missed it, let's enjoy a little of the Orange Man doing what he does best. This is cut 13. There's so many cuts I wanted to pull out of this thing, but we can't have 3 hours of just cuts from the Trump event. Otherwise, what would be the point? We would just preempt the show and replay the Trump rally. You can go ahead and you can do that yourself on YouTube. But this particular point, I think, went to the heart of why he was in Philadelphia and the message he was seeking to convey. Listen up.
Third, we're going to stand up to the out-of-control, Soros-backed DAs like Philadelphia's despicable Marxist prosecutor, Larry Krasner. How did he get in? Krasner has the blood of countless men, women, children on his hands, including thousands of African-American citizens, because he refuses to prosecute people. They don't refuse to prosecute me. I got more prosecutions than any human being. I've got more than the great Alphonse Capone. You ever hear of Scarface?
He keeps using that Al Capone line, and you know why. Because they're clutching their pearls over it and saying, he's comparing himself to a murderous gangster. How could he do that? They think it's a self-own. Trump says this stuff because he knows that it distracts his enemies and gets them to focus on what he doesn't want them to be preoccupied with, or what he wants it to be preoccupied with while he's pursuing his agenda over here. He's playing chess when they're playing checkers a good portion of the time. But Trump, contrary to some of the media coverage, and if you did not hear the rally or watch the rally, but you just read the mainstream media coverage, you would have thought that it was fire, brimstone, Trump trying to scare the bejesus out of people. It was actually a very optimistic speech. It was just direct. For example, you just heard him in that cut say something that I've wished Republican politicians would say for a long time. Stop pussyfooting around it. Democrats don't care about black people. They don't care. They want them to show up and vote for them on election day. But whether we're talking about schools, the crime climate in these cities, they could not care less. Could not care less. Donald Trump, for all the evil things they say about him, he's a businessman. He's an American. When he looks at a person, Donald Trump just sees a person. And when he was actively involved in the maintenance of his company, he saw someone and he operated as the leader of a meritocracy. Either somebody that could add value to his corporation or couldn't. Didn't care what they look like. The left only cares about what you look like. They obsess over superficialities. And I think that that's, once again, and this is our next cut from the Trump rally, I think Trump really drove that point home beautifully at the Leah Center on Saturday night. This is cut numero tres, Andrew.
The people of our country are looking for hope, whether they're white, brown, black, or anything else. They're looking for hope. They're tired of being called stupid people all over the world. 4 years ago, we were so respected, and now we're being laughed at.
Isn't that what Americans want 2024? We'll know when we get the results from the next election, but I think we want to be proud of our country again. We want to have a sense that we are not floundering, a joke. Candidly, that our country is following an upward trajectory, not following the trajectory of Joe Biden every time he attempts to scale a significant set of stairs. While this Trump rally is going on and he's talking about how the left has destroyed Philadelphia and he wants to do better for the people that lives there, in Kensington, a Philadelphia police officer was shot and I believe remains in critical condition. I tried to get an update before we came on the air tonight. But, police officers I talked to in the city of Philadelphia projecting a grim prognosis. So our thoughts and our prayers go out to that officer, yet the latest victim of the criminal environment, the pro-criminal environment that's been fostered by Larry Krasner in this city. It's a very clear choice for Philadelphia and for Pennsylvania, whether or not you want this to continue or whether or not you want to begin going in a different direction. I think Americans are going to make the right choice in 2024. I'm cautiously optimistic, and the polling continues to back that up. Karl Rove, I don't know. Do you ever watch Fox News Sunday, Andrew?
No, I'm going to be honest. I don't really watch the news that much. Here at the studio, obviously it's on and you pay attention to things, but when I have a little bit of me time, no, not so much.
Well, I think you're like me. As a conservative radio host, I'm supposed to watch a lot of cable news, I guess, right? Because that's where they're talking about politics. I'll be honest with you. Obviously, if I have to choose, I'm going to choose Fox or Newsmax because it's less soul-sucking. But, I don't really like any of it. I prefer to read my news, consume my news. I prefer to get it a la carte from sources and from individuals I trust, not have a network push its worldview or its agenda on me. That's just me. So the only time I consistently watch any of these channels is usually if there's a big night, right? An election night, or sometimes I'll watch the debate coverage because I want to see what the mouth breathers are saying. So, I'll probably watch a little bit on Thursday night when I'm consuming the debate. But Karl Rove, I think this is another one of these guys who, as much as I have enjoyed him at various points over the years, you can tell that he is on Team Bushy still to this day. He probably resents Donald Trump taking on the establishment because he's part of the establishment. He worked for these guys. He was the architect of George W. Bush's administration, right? Engineered those big victories. So the resentment is now bleeding through, and I think it's starting to affect his analysis. This is a cut from Karl Rove. I want to say it was Thursday or Friday, insisting that the polling is pointing towards Joe Biden taking advantage of successfully Donald Trump's convictions, that Americans are now moving in Joe Biden's direction. I want you to listen to this, and then I'll have some numbers to blow it up. Let's do it.
Which cut is this?
This is cut, you're going to make me do numbers? 9.
So I want you to start out with that Fox News poll. This would suggest, I know it's only one poll, but this would suggest, with some other evidence, that there's been some movement towards Joe Biden since the felony conviction of President Trump. You agree?
I agree. In fact, take a look at the evidence. Here it is. These are the polls since June 1st. If they're in red, Donald Trump won them. If they're in blue, Joe Biden is leading. And if they're in green, it's a tie. And take a look from the first of the month, where it's Trump up by 1, Trump up by 2, Trump up by 1, Biden up by 1, a tie, Trump up by 2, Biden up by 2, tie, Biden up by 2. So there's been a trend since the May 30th guilty verdict in the New York case. In fact, if you look at the Real Clear Politics national average, which is 11 polls, national average, it's Trump up by 0.5%. And if you look inside that, of the 11 polls, number 11 has him up by 5 points, and number 9 has him up by 5 points, and number 11 has him up by 2. When those get moved out, assuming that we continue to see close numbers, we're likely to see that lead dissipate because the most recent polls have had Biden ahead.
Did you follow that? I can't blame you if you didn't. Talk about trying to measure a flea on a dog's back, right? These polls have Trump up 1, Biden up 2. It's statistical noise for some of these surveys that he's citing, like Morning Consult. None of them, these very small samples, suggest any significant movement in the race. If anything, I think, and our friend Richard Barris from the Big Data Poll, who was on a couple weeks ago, said it, this race has been remarkably stable. It's been remarkably stable for months now, throughout 2024. in fact, and I'll illustrate this for you because we always come armed with facts around here. So Karl Rove is on Fox News. You just heard him on Friday, Thursday, something like that, a couple days ago. Over the weekend, we get 2 new surveys. CBS, Trump, +1. Rasmussen, Trump, +9. 9 points in the Rasmussen survey. Now, granted, that's an outlier at the moment. Very few polls have that much. But among 1,000 likely voters polled on, I think it was June 20th. I think that's when they conducted the Rasmussen poll. They did it all in one day. They have a big enough operation. It was Trump 49, Biden 40. So the RCP average is currently Trump plus 0.9. That's about where it's been for a long, long time now. So for Karl Rove, I would argue his analysis on Fox, it's an attempt at wish fulfillment. He wants this to be a closer race, and it is a close race. But right now, Donald Trump is decidedly ahead. Again, why is he decidedly ahead? I know some of you are tired of me saying it, but I'm here to interpret, or I should say reinterpret, the nonsense that the legacy media tries to shove into your brain. If a Republican is tied or winning the popular vote in this modern age, they're probably going to win the Electoral College by a healthy margin, as Donald Trump did in 2016. If Biden goes into Election Day up, 3, 4, 5 points in the RCP average, trouble for Donald Trump. So there's nothing at this point, even though we're far out, to suggest that what Karl Rove is saying has any validity. But, the Republican Trump haters can just keep hoping that the wheels come off the Trump train. I know that's what they want. They want Joe Biden to win. They would rather validate their grievances in their own worldview than actually see the country saved. That's the sad truth. But I'm not here to make you feel better about bad people, folks. I'm here to just shoot straight with you. Every Sunday night, 7 to 10 for 3 hours, whether Andrew likes it or not. Most of the time, I think he likes it.
It's great. I think it's...
There's worse places to hang out.
On a Sunday night, for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think.
I mean, I was homeschooled, so I don't know many of those places, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's a rigging endorsement, isn't it? 855-839-1210 is the number. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to sprint down the finish of the first hour here on the Matt Rooney Show in a second.
Hello, Saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Are you tired of dealing with those old, inefficient windows in your house? Well, maybe it's time to go Guida. How about that drafty, beat-up-looking entry door you painted over more times than you can count? Well, go Guida. Need added protection from the elements with a new storm door? Go Guida. And what about that sliding patio door or garage door you've been meaning to replace? Go Guida. Whatever your home improvement needs are, I suggest you go Guida with the great people at Guida Door and Window. To help you get your project started, Guida is offering 20% off all windows and doors while allowing you to start your project with no money down and up to 3 full years to pay it off interest-free. That's right. Receive 20% instant savings with the luxury of paying off your project interest-free for up to 36 months. Restrictions apply, offers for a limited time, so what are you waiting for? It's time you finally go Guida. Call today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
A tasty new game is coming your way. Test your skills in Kirby's Quick Run at Tastykake.com. Help Kirby the Crimpet collect all of the Tasty Cake treats. Play now to enter our sweepstakes for a chance to win exclusive prizes. Increase your chances of winning by playing every day. And don't forget to celebrate National Crimpet Day on July 7th by snagging some limited edition confetti crimpets in stores now. Tasty Cake, accept no substitutes.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
Don't walk around with t-shirts and cover-ups at the pool or the beach this summer. Lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. Lose weight the natural way quickly and safely. Locations close by or available worldwide with live online video consultations. Get slimmer without any shots. Call 855-5NJ Diet to lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days guaranteed. NJDiet.com. Lose the weight for good.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Free speech lives here.
Here's how you know that Fox News poll that Karl Rove was salivating over is probably nonsense. The number one issue for participants in that poll, saving democracy. Now look, I may be a conservative Republican on the airwaves here, right? So I recognize I occupy a little bit of a niche in our culture. But I'm also a lawyer that lives in New Jersey, right? And not in a particularly red area. So I interact with people that are quote unquote normal, Andrew, right? I don't know a single person whose major animating issue right now is democracy. Even if there's someone that doesn't love Donald Trump. Given what's going on in the world right now, the inability of Gen Zers to find homes, what you're paying for food every week, all the troubles and travails and trials we're all going through and have been going through now for years. It's just, I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Especially at a time where there is evidence, contrary to what Karl Rove says, that many Americans are sympathetic to Donald Trump's position in these prosecutions he's been subjected to. Right? You don't have to be a Supreme Court justice to understand what's going on here. Even Andrew Cuomo this week went on record, of all people, not necessarily the most trustworthy of people, but he does know a thing or two about corruption. And he gave an interview, I think it was on Bill Maher, and it said, yeah, you know, this New York trial of Donald Trump wouldn't have happened if he wasn't running for president. I think you can trust Andrew Cuomo when the subject is political retaliation. That's something that New York and New Jersey Democrats and politicians generally are well acquainted with. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. It's just going to depend upon how they line up on election day. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. Let's try to take one or two from the phones before the end of the hour. Big Al in Mullica Hill. I don't know if that's your legal name, Big Al. If it is, good for you. You're on with Matt Rooney. Good evening, sir. What's on your mind?
Good evening, sir. Well, I'm an elected committee, Republican committee person in Gloucester County, and I just want to say that, I was. Listen to this. I was a write-in, so my neighbors must have thought enough of me to write my name in, and I got elected.
That counts for something. It says something about you, though. You might be a little bit crazy that you volunteered to be written in here.
I'm very proud that the people thought highly enough to me to write my name in. But I just want to say I was up in North Jersey a couple weeks ago when Jack Chitterelli announced that he was going to be running for governor again.
He was in Homedale. No, Red Bank. No.
Yeah, it's a hotel up there.
Freehold. I'm right the third time around. It was Freehold.
Yeah, he's a good man that really loves New Jersey, and I think hopefully the people will get behind him. But I just hope that our Republicans, even at a smaller level, that we take a page out of the Democrats' book. And I hate to say this, and what I mean this is they stick together. And as Republicans, we have to learn to stick together. Check your egos at the door. Check your special interests at the door, and don't forget who we work for, the people. If someone is elected, and Adam Wingate was elected, when I talked to Adam, just today, we just have to work together and do the best we can, and just if we don't stick together, we're not going to beat our way out of a wet paper bag. So it's it's so important for us to stick together. Whoever wins the election, get behind them and support them. So some of the things that really drive me crazy is, what I would do if I was running ads for Trump?
What would you do, Big Al?
That Barack Obama said. In reference, he said, "Don't underestimate the ability of Joe to mess things up." Okay, but he used a different word than mess. Let's start running the Kamala Harris commercials where she tore Joe Biden when she was debating him about how racist he was, about he didn't want his kids living in the jungle, how she was the little girl on the corner waiting for the bus. Let's put the truth out there. But see, the press today is communistic. We have the Communist News Network on CNN. They're so biased, and they won't print the truth. And this is what people got to wake up in this country.
And your neighbors wrote you in?
Yeah, I don't know who did.
I'm just teasing, Big Al. I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you. Look, here's one thing I would say to you. You said that Republicans need to stick together. Here's the challenge, and this has always been the challenge, and I'm speaking not just as somebody that opines on this stuff, but as someone who spent some years on a Republican committee, running some local Republican campaigns right in South Jersey. Republicans are generally independent thinkers. Democrats are not. Our brains are wired differently. That's just the truth. So it's one of the inherent difficulties in trying to get the side of light and truth and justice together to accomplish anything. It's herding cats every single cycle. What makes Donald Trump so unique, and this is one of the things that the Mitt Romney Bush class hates about him, is that Donald Trump has shown an ability to unite the coalition in a way that other Republican leaders just haven't been able to in recent years. So I share your hope that especially in South Jersey, Republicans can get their act together and can make something happen this cycle and beyond, especially in the wake of that big Norcross indictment that we're going to try to talk about tonight, Big Al. I'm sure you saw that one, right?
Oh, yeah, but, let's see what happens with that. That'll be very interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. And, Big Al, we appreciate you calling in to the Matt Rooney Show from all the way down there in Mullica Hill. Beautiful, beautiful little town down in Gloucester County. Part of Harrison Township.
It's funny. Talking about me homeschooling again. One of the groups that we used to hang out with like other homeschooling kids.
Yeah.
My best friends, still like really super close to them in their weddings. They were in my wedding and all that stuff. They're from Mullica Hill. It's a very cute town.
It's a great spot. They've got a little downtown.
Yep.
But then it's mostly, well, I was going to say it's rural, not really anymore because there's a lot of development going up.
There is development, but
some farms down there.
There's still a lot of farms
wineries.
Down there. The best pizza I've had in South Jersey is in Mullica Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Care to dish, pun intended?
It's called Naples.
Okay.
It's across the street from where it used to be, which is like the water mill, the sawmill, whatever thing. It's off of Main Street.
Oh, I know where that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really, really, really good pie. You can't go wrong with it. The crust is really crispy, but it's soft on the inside.
Well, see, you should have jumped in. You should have asked Big Al whether or not he liked Naples pizza.
I was debating it, but then I really wanted to.
Because I've got your endorsement, and now if I also had a local endorsement,
that's true.
I'd be on my way to get a slice.
I'll text my friend. Maybe I can get him to call in.
Text your friend, see if he'll call in, and then maybe I'll stop on the way back from the shore next time I'm down there.
How far of a detour is that for you, though?
Not bad.
It can't be.
It's worth it if the pizza's good enough.
Yes, it is good enough. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I've had some good pizza living in Philly the first part of my life, and now for South Jersey guy. So, you know.
You see this gut?
No,
I'm a pretty good judge of good pizza too.
I saw.
I've got the pound. I've got the poundage to prove it.
Yes.
One more thing I'm going to throw at you before the end of the hour, folks, since we talked a lot about polling this hour. Here's another survey that I don't think Karl Rove had at his fingertips when he was opining on Fox News that Biden had polling momentum. Absolutely not true. This is from Fox. Democrat strategist sounds warning for Biden after poll showing single-digit lead over Trump in New York. Single-digit lead. It was a Siena College poll that came out that showed Joe Biden only ahead of Donaldus Magnus in the Empire State, 47 to 39%. That is a very soft number in one of the most reliably blue states in the country. Similarly, back in the spring, I reported on this in my home state, the Garden State. There was a survey that showed, I think it was maybe Monmouth or Quinnipiac, or maybe Fairleigh Dickinson. One of those three. Process of elimination. Donald Trump was trailing Joe Biden by only 5 points. Now, the last time a Republican did that well in New Jersey was 2004 in the wake of 9/11 when George Bush, it still ended up being a relatively close election, but George Bush still won and defeated John Kerry. And part of the reason George Bush probably did decently in New Jersey that year was 9/11, because there were so many, especially in North Jersey, that had that experience seared into their brain, having watched the smoke from this side of the river, having loved ones that were over there and suffered and in many cases died that day. New Jersey was second only to New York for 9/11 victims. So, you know, again, do I think that Donald Trump is going to win New York, win New Jersey? I mean, I'm not betting any money on it at this point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just telling you that Karl Rove, or as George W. Bush used to call him, Turd Blossom, is off base on this one. God love him. I'm not seeing what he's seeing. It's just not out there. So take that for what it's worth. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. 1 hour already gone. But that's okay, because the show's going to accelerate today as we go on. We've got Doug Kellogg from ATR joining us in our next hour here coming up in just a few minutes. We've got plenty more that we have to chat about as well. I want to get to more Biden debate prep news. We got to talk about AOC in that viral video at some point. Big Al from Mullica Hill brought up Kamala Harris. We've got some Kamala Harris clips to share with you if you've got some duct tape available and you can tape your brain before hearing it so that it doesn't explode all over your nice living room or kitchen or wherever you happen to be consuming tonight's program. And whatever else I can fit into the program. I always say that there's more content on the show than the CDC says is safe to consume in a single program, but we don't care. You're an adult. We treat you like an adult around here, and we trust you to make your own decisions here on the Matt Rooney Show. Quick break, back with hour number 2 in a moment. Don't move a muscle.
Hey Philly, it's Ike Reese. In the city of brotherly love, the only thing we love more than our teams is great savings. And with unlimited welcome from Verizon, you can save big, even if you're on a single line. For a limited time, single lines start at just $50 a month when you bring your own phone. With auto pay plus taxes and fees, that's a savings of $15 a month. And when you switch, now you can save on the things you love, like Netflix and Max, all on the most awarded 5G TV network. Now that's a real win. There's never been a better time to switch to the network America relies on. But this offer won't last long. Visit your local Verizon store to switch and save big today.
$180 BYOD promo credit and $360 local promo credit applied over 36 months. For new customers with one line on your own 4G, 5G phone on unlimited welcome plan required. Additional terms apply. Auto pay and paper-free billing required. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. $10 a month for each My Plan perk. Additional terms and conditions apply per perk.
This is a consumer alert to all U.S. taxpayers who owe the IRS back taxes or have unfiled tax returns. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, you can now take advantage of active programs that provide relief to struggling taxpayers and may reduce or eliminate what you owe if you qualify. Even if you are facing liens, levies, audits, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, call the Easy Tax Relief Helpline now to check what savings you may qualify for at 800-505-8196. You may qualify to reduce up to 99% of what you owe or for other special programs. Once qualified and enrolled, you can rest assured that your assets are protected and all collection efforts will be stopped. Billions of dollars in savings are available through these relief programs for struggling taxpayers, but you must call to see if you qualify. To see what savings you qualify for, call 800-505-8196. 800-505-8196. That's 800-505-8196.
Life is full of moments, including difficult and disruptive ones like a cancer diagnosis, which is why the groundbreaking work of Stand Up to Cancer is so vital. They bring together top minds from different fields to find new and better treatments so patients can thrive. Please join Stand Up to Cancer and Myrtle Beach to help families get back to where they belong, making new memories for years to come. Go to standuptocancer.org to see how you can join the mission.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as one day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
93. In fact, we had 16 flood gauges that recorded historic levels.
Widespread flooding's to blame for at least one death in South Dakota, and the heavy rain isn't over yet, says Governor Kristi Noem.
We're in for the peak to hit starting tomorrow, and we're going to continue to deal with that. We know through Wednesday night, and so we've got a few days in front of us here that'll be a little rough.
The extreme heat wave persists.
That's the sound of Italian Ice getting ready for warm customers outside of Carmen's Italian Ice in Rockville. Dan is quite the neighbor.
Got a little cooler, and I'm feeding everyone in the neighborhood. It's great.
You'll be the most popular guy today.
I already am.
Tori McDonald with Carmen says the most popular flavors are
mango, cotton candy, cherry, and strawberry lemon.
When Zach and his mom Heather found out the community pool was closed on this scorching day,
just figured we'd come for some ice cream.
Zach says his raspberry Italian ice.
It's really cold, so it's just cooling me down.
Mike Murillo for CBS News, Rockville, Maryland.
A pair of deadly wildfires in New Mexico killed at least 2 people. Thousands were forced to flee their homes. Ruidoso Mayor Lynn Crawford says residents are being allowed back in tomorrow.
Give these folks time to come in. While some still have homes, most do not have utilities, electrical, or anything else. But a lot of folks have nothing. And it's going to be emotional and impactful to these folks.
In the Dagestan region of Russia,
gunmen with automatic weapons fired at a synagogue and a church. Separate, apparently coordinated attacks began around the same time in the region's capital, Makhachkala. There, a police checkpoint, a church and a synagogue were attacked.
BBC's Danny Aberhard tells us there were 5 gunmen who killed at least 6 people. Russia believes ISIS is responsible. The BBC's Maura Alderson reports the war in the Middle East may be slowing.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the intense phase of fighting in Rafah in southern Gaza is nearly over. He added that didn't mean the war against Hamas was about to end, but he said it would release troops for deployment to northern Israel, where cross-border exchanges of fire with Hezbollah in Lebanon have raised fears of a wider conflict.
A protest disrupted the 18th hole of the PGA's Travelers Championship today. 6 people stormed the green and sprayed white and red powder across the grass. It delayed the finish for about 5 minutes. When it was ready to play again, Scotty Scheffler ended up winning. This is CBS News.
And now, a list of things from Progressive Insurance. Home, auto, boat, motorcycle, RV, ATV. Progressive protects them all. Learn more about bundling at Progressive.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney. On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back, old friends, new frenemies, and all who lie elsewhere in between on the spectrum that is life. I am Matt Rooney. This is the Matt Rooney Show. Coming at you from the banks of the beautiful Schuylkill River. Andrew's nodding like, yeah, sure, Schuylkill's pretty, I guess.
The sunset's nice, like when you can see look out the windows and you can see like the reflection off the glass buildings and all that stuff, and then you got the big fancy pillar buildings on the one side. It's really nice.
Yes, I mean, if you can suspend your knowledge of what's happening in Philadelphia, there's aspects of it at certain times of day. If you squint and keep one eye closed and stand on one leg, it can kind of sort of be pretty, right?
If you think of pizza and cheesesteaks, that helps too.
Yeah, but you know what? And I'm going to really tick some people up by saying this. And look, I always own my bias. Have many wonderful friends in the Philadelphia area. I've grown up in the shadow of this once great city. I've got a bunch of Eagles jerseys and Philly shirts in my drawer at home, right? I'm a South Jersey guy, and most of the good pizza and cheesesteaks migrated to the outer suburbs of Philadelphia and the South Jersey suburbs a long time ago. I can get just as good cheesesteaks and just as good pizza in Washington Township, New Jersey.
Yep. Or in Mullica Hill.
Or in Mullica Hill, or in Collingswood, as I can get in the city itself. And I'm sure that's the same thing on your side, or the other side of the river as well, I should say. So it's just, let's just call that for what it is.
I think it's just a thing where, and the other thing, you got to look at it from a historical perspective too, with things being the way it was, and the fame of the cheesesteak sandwich kind of taking off really over the last, gosh, how long? I don't even know how long the cheesesteak has been around. It's been a very long time. You have, eventually that kind of stuff is going to spread to different parts of the South Jersey area, spreading into parts outside the city of the West and the North, like you were talking about. So it was only a matter of time before that kind of stuff started happening anyway. But it's like you said,
you got to be careful where you order one, though, around the country.
True.
Where was I?
I would never order from anywhere outside of this area.
I was in St. Louis for a wedding.
Oh, God.
And, there's no reason to ever go to St. Louis.
Cardinals game?
It may... Well, okay. So there's some literal reasons, Andrew, to go to St. Louis. But if I was going to a Cardinals game, maybe I'd go in and I'd come out. Right? It's not really that nice.
I'm a sports history guy, so that's like a bucket list thing for me.
That's fine. That's fine. You want to go to the stadium, but the rest of the city, there's nothing.
Right.
I spent a New Year's Eve in St. Louis, and it was thoroughly depressing. In any event, so I attempted to order a cheesesteak there. Now, I knew what I was doing, right? It was morbid curiosity. I wanted to see what a Midwesterner would think was a cheesesteak, and what I got was sliced steak. Kind of like a roast beef sandwich, but it was a cut of beef and not a particularly great cut of beef sliced up. And it had, I don't know, some kind of cheese that I can't tell you what it was. It would have been better if it had just been whiz. It would have been better.
Ugh.
But it was gnarly.
What cheese do you prefer?
What cheese do I prefer?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, all right. So there's
obviously
different.
Not whiz cheese.
I was gonna say there's different categories.
Yeah.
I prefer an Italian cheese, like a sharp provolone or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Cooper Sharp American is good.
Well, I was just gonna say, if I'm making a sandwich at home, that's cheesesteak-esque, there is no better cheese on the planet than Cooper Sharp.
Right.
And I'm speaking not only as someone that eats a lot of cheese, but I'm also speaking as a former Acme deli clerk for many summers.
All right.
Down the Jersey Shore, where I worked through college and law school in the summers, slicing meat, arguing with little old ladies about whether it was thin enough, taking that kind of abuse from the general public. It prepared me for dealing with callers on the air.
Right, and lawyer type stuff.
And lawyer type stuff. Yeah, if you can convince some old spinster that her turkey is thin enough and you can't possibly make it any thinner without cutting your own fingers off,
right,
then you can win a debate with anyone.
Right.
That's my philosophy. But Cooper Sharp is the best cheese.
I like it. And it fits the mold of a lot of different things. It's not just for cheesesteaks. Any kind of cold cut sandwich, a hoagie, anything like that. It's really, really burgers. I would put Cooper Sharp on a cheeseburger ahead of like regular yellow American or anything else.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I hear you. I think you and I could at some point enjoy a cheesesteak. It seems like you have a similar reverence for this great institution of the city of brotherly love.
Right.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that you're a fellow aspiring fatty like me and that you like to eat.
I'm catching up there. I'm getting there.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
You're 30, you said?
30, yeah.
Yeah, 30. So you got 9 years to gain my mass.
All right.
To pack in that fat around your organs, which is what I'm working with.
We'll re-examine this conversation at that time.
You should. You should. You absolutely should. 855-839-1210 is the number, by the way, here in the Matt Rooney Show. If you want to get on this, all this talk of cheesesteaks here. Not only is it making me hungry, but it also is reminding me that we forgot in a very important aspect of Trump's trip to Philadelphia. We talked about his actual speech at Temple University, which was the main event. Which, by the way, very smart move on the part of the Trump campaign and Temple to have this in June, after graduation, because these college pro-Palestinian, pro-terrorist, commie socialist loser children that attend universities like this in 2024 would have been out in force with their signs, their sit-ins, behaving like petulant little babies if it was before graduation. There really wasn't much of a boo at all. And it's because they're not going to come back from their summer vacation to actually do real work and protest the President of the United States. They only want to do it if it's easy and convenient, what everybody else happens to be doing at a time. But before Trump went to Temple University, he enjoyed a cheesesteak. I think, where did he go? It wasn't Pat's. It wasn't Gino's.
Stand by. I'm working my magic.
You confirming that? Yeah, he got a cheesesteak. He got his perfunctory. One of our listeners, by the way, was complaining to me because I called it a perfunctory cheesesteak. They said, Matt, can't you find a more positive way to describe Trump going to get a cheesesteak? In other words, that it was a great event, and why am I being negative? And somebody else chimes in, what happened to this guy? Including me, right? So you can't even criticize, or you can't even, I should say, pick the right adjective to describe Trump's trip to get a cheesesteak without incurring the wrath of some of you. It's mechanical. That's the definition of perfunctory if you look it up in the dictionary. I stand by that because that's what everybody does. Do you think Trump just randomly had a hankering for a cheesesteak? No. You're a politician. You go to Philadelphia. You get a cheesesteak.
I got the name of the place.
Where was it?
Tony's and Nick's.
Oh, you went to Tony's and Nick's. Okay. Good choice. So he went to Tony's and Nick's, and he ran into this young man. Did you see this video, Andrew?
Yeah, it's going around.
He ran into this young kid, and the kid looks like he's right out of Central Casting. If you told AI, draw young Republican male, right, below the age of 17 or something, it would produce this kid.
Right.
And he shows up dressed like Donald Trump, like he's going dressed as Trump for Halloween. He's got the wig, the Trump wig with the blonde hair going every which direction. And Trump just loved it. So Trump signed a $20 bill for him and bought him a cheesesteak. Here's the audio. I wish you could see this. If you haven't seen it, I'll retweet it over at Matt Rooney NJ. That's my handle on X.
Is there a cut for that? Or
there should be a cut for that in the stack. Let's see. We'll find it. We will find it. Is it in there? I'm pretty sure I put it in there. Hold on, we're gonna find this.
Yeah, we'll find it.
We will find it. We will locate this. I'm pretty sure that it's in there in this massive stack. But for those of you that don't know how radio works, I send Andrew this massive sheet of cuts and clips and stories, and I go as far as to number them. So sometimes something can get a little lost in there. So it's in there somewhere, I promise. I'm not completely losing my mind. Right? Maybe we'll get a cheesesteak. and that'll help jog my memory. Does anybody deliver here?
You got to tell them how to like specifically drop off. I think it's because you would have to go downstairs.
It'd be 11 p.m. by the time I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it would take a while.
I would bring it in. That'd be the easier way to do it.
Right. You'd have to pick it up beforehand.
It's like the airport here. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump debate coming up on Thursday evening. I have very mixed emotions about this. Do I have to really explain why? I think it's obvious, right? Every one of these network debates, they always attempt to sandbag Donald Trump. And we all know what's going on as we speak, that Joe Biden, who hasn't any events in days, and he doesn't have any events on his public calendar up until the debate on Thursday night. He is at Camp David. Here's my theory, and I want to say before I continue with this, it's obviously not rooted in any special knowledge, but just based upon what we've seen of this guy in the past, I have no doubt that Joe Biden is sleeping through the day, right? Trying to change his sleep rhythm to align with being maximally alert, whatever that means for him, for the time of the debate. God knows what they are pumping into him. We joked about Ivan Drago in the first hour, right? Juicing before the debate. I don't know what it is, but listen, folks, contrary to what the media is telling you, because they can't even call it a deep fake anymore, right? They had to invent a new phrase because, of course, there's nothing fake about these videos of Joe Biden looking like he's about to collapse at any moment. Now they're calling them cheap fakes, which is code for, hey, listen, this is an accurate video of Joe Biden looking demented and physically degraded to the point where he's not qualified to be president, but how mean of you to bring it up. How inconvenient of you to show it to the American people. So Biden's there, probably hooked up to various machines, getting himself ready to be able to perform for the 90 minutes he's going to need to for the debate. But occasionally, these legacy media types that talk to the White House, that are in touch with the palace, slip and give you a window into how absurd this situation is. This is, let's see, I got to make sure. See, since I screwed up the last clip for Andrew, I want to make sure that I got this one to you because I don't want to be a man who isn't one who can stand by his word. Yeah, this is cut number 2, Andrew. So let me set this up. This is ABC News, and this reporter on ABC News is with a straight face explaining what she's learned from her sources Joe Biden is doing to get ready for the big confrontation with Donald Trump. One of the things he's doing, practicing standing for 90 minutes. Listening and hearing sometimes is believing. Check it out.
Now, part 2 of that, Phil, of that debate prep, it's going to be actually putting that into action with these mock debates. This is going to include a 90-minute formal debate where the president is standing up on his feet the entire time, trying to mirror what he's going to have to do in real time next week.
It's a challenge for this guy to stand for 90 minutes. It's a challenge for him to stand for 90 minutes. I don't think you have to try too hard to get that from what she's saying. But she's discussing it and relaying it to the viewers as if it is some kind of rare feat of strength that only a president or a presidential contender could hope to aspire to. Being able to stand for 90 minutes. This is the guy with the nuclear football. Yeah. So will he be able to stand for 90 minutes? I think he'll figure it out again because they are setting him up. Who's running the country right now? I have no idea. Right? Because he doesn't seem like he's capable of doing more than one thing at once. So if he's sleeping through the day to prepare for this debate and then practicing standing on his feet for 90 minutes, I don't know. I wouldn't think they'd leave Kamala in charge. I guess it's Obama. Whoever Obama's point person is, the White House must be running things while Joe is changing his sleep rhythm. It's all absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. 855-839-1210 is the number. Let's take a break, and when we come back, Kamala clips, more on the debate, more on everything. We got a lot we got to talk about here tonight on the Matt Rooney Show. Again, 855-839-1210. Back in just a moment.
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Hey, this is Mike Quick. If you're in the restaurant, hospitality, or casino business and your point of sale system isn't helping you sell more, earn more, or work less, you need to talk to my friends at PDQ Signature Systems. PDQ has everything you need for success. PDQ POS is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS system available. Whether you have a single location restaurant or thousands of locations, Joe Flynn and his team will create a custom game plan that will help your business succeed. Visit PDQPOS.com.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me MD.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June is Men's Health Month with Rescue Natural Supplements. Life is busy. It can be hard to focus on your health. Thankfully, Rescue Men's Health Supplements have the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that provide men with what they need. Rescue supplements can help boost testosterone, promote a healthy prostate, as well as support energy and vitality for an active life. And for the month of June, when you buy one of their Men's Health single bottles, you'll receive a second totally free. Just use the code STRENGTH for the buy one, get one offer. To order, call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate, and more. Again, use that code STRENGTH for the buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Men's Health products. Shop res-q.com and do it today.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Hey, this is Matt Spiegel, and on my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, we learn how the best broadcasters in the game, like the Reds' John Sadak, try to capture the greatness of the best players, like Ellie De La Cruz.
He's a video game character. I mean, he is so athletic, and I think each moment is its own living entity, and I try to just match whatever that moment is.
The PBP, Voices of Baseball. We bring you the people who bring you the game. Find us on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Clementon. Yeah! We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
You had a really good suggestion, Andrew, for best cheesesteak in the city, potentially. And it comes from El Presidente.
Yes.
Dave Portnoy.
Yep.
Angelo's.
9th
Street, South Philly.
He gave their pizza a 9-1, and he gave, I don't know what he gave their cheesesteak, but he did a cheesesteak review for them too, and he loved it too. And he did the Cooper Sharp thing, so.
Cooper Sharp, I'm telling you. I stand by that cheese.
That's
Now,
how it works.
I said to you, and it blew your mind a moment ago. I often blow your mind when you're on this program,
Right, and I'm learning that, and you know, I think it's the start of a beautiful thing.
I could not agree more. But there used to be an Angelo's for a brief time in Haddonfield, not too far from me, and it was glorious. And I don't know what happened, but it didn't stay. It ended up I don't know if it was a COVID thing or what it was. But they have.
Look it up.
I never got the cheesesteak, but the grandma's pie was stunning, absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. I mean, I cannot say enough things about this grandma's pie. If you like grandma's pie, and if you don't know what grandma's pie is,
do explain. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I don't know if I can adequately explain it. It's pizza, but it's not cheese dependent pizza. So it's got this very delicious kind of sweet tomato sauce and Parmesan.
Yeah.
It's usually thin crust with a lot of olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's
as Italian as it gets.
But see, we don't know how lucky we have it in this part of the world. We complain about the politics in the Delaware Valley often for good reason.
Usually it's a pretty good reason why we complain.
Right. But as I often say to people, I mean, what's your alternative? You move down south to a state where they think pizza is ketchup on a cracker. I can't do that, right? I like to eat. And I actually, while we were on air, I'm getting text messages from people. I'm getting direct messages on social media. I get emails. That's what happens when you're on the air. And I like to try to peruse it. And I got an email from Adeline, okay? And Adeline now lives down in the Low Country in South Carolina, but she used to be from Cumberland County. And she's listening, and we appreciate you listening out there, Adeline. But she makes my point. She said the only place down near her that is close to what you can get up here is a Jersey Mike's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brutal, right?
That is.
And this is why, so I'm sure our friend and listener Adeline is enjoying her freer lifestyle in South Carolina, right? She doesn't have a fascist as a governor, lower taxes. You got those cute little palmetto, that are kind of like little stubby palm trees. It's good. It's kind of, better atmosphere in that respect, even though it's really hot in South Carolina.
It's probably, a mild winter and fall.
Yes. Yeah, I would miss seasons. But the one thing you really miss down there is the food.
Well, it's give and take.
You can't get a bagel. You can't get pizza.
Nope.
Try to have a bagel. I mean, even the people up in New York think down here we don't have bagels, but try to get a bagel down there. It's something about the water.
Everybody says it's the water.
It's in the water.
It doesn't sound scientific at all, but that's literally what it is.
No, I'll tell you what, Andrew. It is absolutely science. The water is what makes the bagel.
And the pizza and everything else.
Yes, because the crust is everything.
Yeah.
So, and this is from the Smithsonian.
Oh.
Okay, right?
That's official as it gets.
This is extremely official, okay? Ratios of certain minerals in water affect the gluten in bagel dough. Hard water fortifies gluten, the protein responsible for toughness in bagels. Using super soft water, on the other hand, turns dough into goo. I'm going to share this article from the Smithsonian from 2015. It's called What Chemistry Gives New York City Bagels an Edge. Is it really all in the water? And the conclusion is, yeah, I mean, to some degree, it is, although it's not the only factor. According to the Smithsonian, setting the dough aside and letting it sit in the refrigerator also coaxes yeast to ferment, releasing volatile vapor compounds. Before the oven, boiling the bagels in a bath of water and baking soda locks water molecules into the dough's starch. This boiling step is called poaching, okay, and creates the crunchy exterior, chewy inside of a classic New York bagel. So there's a lot that goes into the process, but the water, here's the best way I can say it from my extensive research on this topic. It's not the only thing, but it is important. It's significant. So I hope I've made a believer of you, Andrew. 855-839-1210 is the number. Also, YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like. Participate in the comments if you so choose. They're often lively, often interesting. Shout out to Margaret over in the comments who agrees with my analysis on Karl Rove. Right? So she says, I love my Matt Rooney Sunday night show. Andrew gets terribly teased by Rich all the time. Poor guy. Referring to Rich Zioli. Is Rich bullying you?
Something like that. Yeah. But
why is he bullying you?
He picks on the new guy.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
He doesn't have Henry to kick around anymore, so he's kicking you around?
Yeah, something like that.
What is he making fun of you for?
My movie references and TV shows.
Okay.
The first thing he asked me on air was, have I watched The Sopranos? And I gave, in my opinion, his is obviously very different. I thought was a pretty good answer. I said, no, I haven't watched The Sopranos. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, I have seen other good TV like Breaking Bad. And in his mind, he thought that those two things don't have anything to do with each other. He's like, well, I asked you about The Sopranos.
It is pretty remarkable that you've never seen The Sopranos.
I've seen, again, I told him this, and he kind of, and he continued the poking of the fun.
No.
But I said, I've seen clips and different things and Tony Soprano and like the way he talks and all that stuff, but didn't really wasn't that interested in hearing what,
He used to razz our former producer, Dan Valdez, over his music choices.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can see that.
So that's what Zioli does very well. Listeners at this station think it's his keen intellect, his political knowledge, his entertaining delivery.
No, it's how he makes fun of people.
Rich knows how to find your weak spot and exploit it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what he's now done with you. So you got to start watching some stuff if you're going to stay on his show.
Yeah.
You can't let him bully you
I thought I was done with homework, but apparently not.
No, back to homeschool, my friend. Back to homeschool.
You're funny.
Well, occasionally. We're supposedly going to find out soon who Trump's Veep nominee is, by the way. Trump, we keep talking about, he has his first debate of the 2024 cycle coming up on Thursday. He has said that his Veep nominee, I'm going to lay this all out there. He's selected them, allegedly. They don't know he selected them. But this person will be present for the debate on Thursday. So, if true, you got to be thinking that all these guys are making sure that their tickets punched and their plane tickets booked, and that they're there in case there's some big announcement, right? One of the Trump potential nominees was on cable news this week, Doug Burgum, right? I think he's the governor of North Dakota, right? I always forget. God love him. He's the governor of North Dakota. And Trump, I think the reason why Trump likes Burgum so much is that he is a competent administrator, right? Trump likes someone that he believes if he's, unlawfully detained by some liberal court somewhere in the country and unable to directly govern, someone that he can trust to step in his stead and lead the nation and lead the party. And he seems to think that Doug Burgum is a good candidate in this regard. Burgum was on CNN with Caitlin Collins, who's got to have the snarkiest face of anyone I've ever seen in the history of news. She's one of these people who, she gave a big interview and then landed her own show and has just become this wonderkind over at at CNN, and I don't get it because her face really, really annoys me. Some of you are going to think that's kind of mean and petty, but it's just the truth. You know, she just has this like constant, I know something you don't look on her face, and it's incredibly obnoxious. But she tried to turn it on Doug Burgum, the accusation that Joe Biden is behaving like a dictator. And I liked his answer. I wish it had been a little more forceful, but I think there's the beginnings of something there as we evaluate him as a potential Trump number 2. This is cut number 10, Andrew. Doug Burgum over on CNN this weekend.
You don't like his executive orders and you don't like his policies. I understand that. I don't think anyone expects the Republican governor to agree with President Biden on that. But it's not a dictatorship.
Well, I think, again, part of where this word has come from has been a nonstop media attack on President Trump, saying that he might use executive orders when he takes office. And was trying to make the point here that under this current administration, most of the changes that are driving inflation in our country, the stuff he's not doing on the border, which he could be doing with executive orders. I mean, the open borders and the inflation are things that he's doing by himself alone, ignoring the other branches of government.
So there it is, right? Now, of course, you or I might have said it a little bit differently. I would have said something like, listen, who are you kidding here? We have a president of the United States that's actively, in addition to running his own criminal enterprise, attempting to lock up his opponent on trumped-up charges, pun intended, and have a one-party election. But you're going to accuse Donald Trump of being a potential dictator? Are you kidding me? I might have said it a little bit differently. But he got there. The substance was there, right? And that's what Trump needs. He doesn't need to find a Trump clone. I don't think a Trump clone exists. There's some people out there doing bad impressions in the conservative movement.
There's that kid who dressed up as him at the cheesesteak place.
Oh, do we have that clip?
Yeah, I'm loading it now.
Right, which let's be clear about this though. This was my fault.
It's fine.
Well, no, it is. But this is what sets me apart, Andrew. I'm a leader, right? Unlike Joe Biden. There's a few things that separate me from Joe Biden. I've never pooped my pants, at least in recent memory, right, as an adult. I'm not a socialist. I also am willing to accept responsibility when I'm wrong. I was wrong. It wasn't on the cut sheet. I intended to put it on there. It wasn't. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're more than forgiven.
Thank you.
I have it ready. Let me know when you want to play.
Let's just remind people briefly. This is the young man that Trump encountered when he was getting his cheesesteak during his visit to Philly this weekend. Do you see any young men out there dressing up as Joe Biden to go to a Joe Biden rally? I don't think so. Check this out.
Make sure he gets a special sandwich for himself. Aww. Yeah, I'm going to do something. Come here. You're going to hit pay dirt. You know why? Watch. Look at him, huh? Okay, hold it for now. You know what that is? Andrew Jackson. All right, dude. I'm going to sign it for you. We're going to make it value. We're going to add some value, okay? We never have this before. We remember look at it.
Trump signing a $20 bill.
All right, Timmy.
And this kid's crying.
Come here. We just added a little value.
And Trump gives him a big hug.
Timmy McConnell. So if your parents don't want you, I'll take you. Yeah, baby. He's a good boy.
And people are making fun of this poor kid after this encounter, this viral encounter with Trump at Tony and Nick's, saying that it's evidence of Trump has a cult and like what kind of kid cries meeting the president. I'll tell you what, as a kid, and I'm in here not just talking to tens of thousands of you out there across the airwaves, wherever you may be joining us tonight. I'm also talking to my producer who's a fellow nerd. I would have been more excited meeting a president at that age than I would some sports stars.
Yeah.
There's play. But would anybody think it was weird if a young Patriots fan in 2015 got emotional meeting Tom Brady?
No.
Right? Like, nobody would have thought that was weird, right? You might have razzed him if it wasn't your team and you're not a fan of the Patriots, right? But the kid clearly is a fan of politics, a fan of Republican politics, and a fan of Donald Trump. So it's the left being cruel. making fun of this young man. I'll tell you what a cult is. I witnessed a cult in 2008. I remember a certain presidential candidate, a senator from Illinois, promising that he was going to actually lower the seas, and people crying and making fools of themselves at his rallies across the country. I remember watching video interviews of my fellow Americans getting emotional, believing that Barack Obama, if elected president, would erase their mortgages. You can check it out there on the social media, folks. Out there on the YouTubes, the interwebs, it all lasts forever, despite their attempts to erase history and reshape it in a way that's more convenient for them. That was a cult. This is not a cult. I will tell you what this devotion to Donald Trump is. I've said it before. I'll say it again tonight. It is genuine affection and appreciation for a guy, a rare guy, who is willing to not only take on the deep state, right? We do that here on the Matt Rooney Show. We challenge the deep state. Donald Trump's doing more than that. He's actually sacrificing his business empire, his fortune. He might die in prison, right? If things don't go well with these criminal prosecutions of him. It's entirely possible. He is making the kind of sacrifice, and this is really going to tick off some of our leftist listeners, but you're just going to have to do the best you can. Stick your hand down your pants right now to keep your panties from getting twisted when I say this. Donald Trump what he's doing right now is as close to what the founding fathers did. There were actual consequences associated, right, with Donald Trump and the decisions he's made and the fight that he is taking on for this country. Most of us talk about this stuff in the abstract, and there's not actual direct skin in the game. Not the case here. So that young man should feel no shame and no harm in what he's dealing with right now and what he's feeling after meeting President Trump. I say it's good on him. 855-839-1210 is the number. Quick break. Back with more in a moment.
So last year I had the bright idea to dig up part of my backyard to put in a new patio. Little did I know that underground electrical for most of my neighborhood ran through my backyard. One wrong hit of the shovel and bam, lights went out, my hair turned white, and now I can wirelessly charge my smartphone. You know, they say hindsight is 20/20, but 2/20? That's something completely different. Trust me. Call 811 before you dig. Know what's below and help us hit 50 and 5. 50% less damage to buried utilities in 5 years. For info, visit pa1call.org.
The ride you want is what we've got. So, drive a little.
Save a lot.
At TurnersvilleJeep.com. Come to Turnersville and get incredible zero-down lease deals on a massive inventory of new Jeeps, Dodges, and Ram trucks. That's right. Save big with special zero-down lease deals at Turnersville. The ride you want is what we've got. So, drive a little.
Save a lot.
TurnersvilleJeep.com. Your premier tri-state Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Wagoneer dealer.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Don't miss The Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows, along with no interest for 5 years. Plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Diabetes, high
blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-353-9057. 800-353-9057 or biglou.com. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, briefly, because we got to keep trucking along here. We have an update on the most important story of the night. What happened to Angelo's Pizzeria in Haddonfield?
It's terrible. So what ended up happening was, and I want to make sure that I'm reading this from the thing itself, so bear with me as we move along. This is
hugely important,
yeah,
so take your time.
BillyPenn.com.
Okay.
This was published in 2019, so this is pre-COVID, so it had nothing to do with COVID, apparently. But what happened was... Angelo's was in Haddonfield on Haddon Avenue for 5 years.
Yeah.
And they did really well with the grandma pie, and everybody would know about their sandwiches and hoagies and cheesesteaks and all that stuff. The reason they had to move, according to the article, and this is, quote, a few months later, the original location was forced to shut down due to flooding, and fans were left completely without their fix in New Jersey. So, end quote there. But apparently the place got flooded out so badly that they were forced to move. They couldn't fix the location that they were at in Haddonfield.
Wow. And
Isn't
then they decided never to reopen.
Well, he picked up and moved into Philadelphia. That's where he moved his business. So there was only ever the one location. There weren't multiple locations. The reason he's not.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So they temporarily relocated to Haddonfield.
Yeah.
No, there wasn't the Philly location.
Yeah, there was the Philly location is where they've been since they moved in 2019. So they've been there for 5 years.
Well, that's a shame.
It is a shame. Because that would have been much more convenient for you and me.
Well, if they ever want to leave Philadelphia, they're welcome to come back. I'd let them set up in my garage.
I would open up a whole city block, give him like a building like we have here.
Yeah,
if that's what he wants.
No rent, just unlimited grandma pies.
Just give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look like Chris Christie. I'll look like Fatty McThunder biscuits at the end of this rainbow.
And then you are going to need a whole beach to yourself to just kind of to decompose a little bit.
I will, as a forklift dumps me on the sand every weekend. What a sight that'll be. I'll look like one of the whales that Phil Murphy kills with his windmills. 855-839-1210 is the number. Speaking of Phil Murphy, it's budget time in New Jersey. Yay. Sarcasm, of course, because I'm a New Jersey taxpayer, and budget time is always a horror show for those of us that pay taxes in the Garden State. We're the most taxed state in the union across almost every category. I'm happy this week at my website, SaveJersey.com, where I hang out Monday through Friday. We had a guest op-ed from our friend Grover Norquist of Americans for Tax Reform, breaking down Murphy's latest broken promise about not raising new taxes that he made back in 2021 when he was running for re-election. So to help us break down this fantastic piece from Grover and important information for all New Jersey taxpayers, especially with a gubernatorial race coming up next year, we're joined by our buddy from Americans for Tax Reform. He is the state projects director, knows more about taxes than anyone should ever have to, and he's a great resource for this stuff, Doug Kellogg. Welcome to the Matt Rooney Show, Mr. Kellogg. Appreciate you joining us.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me on, Matt. It's an honor to be with you tonight.
It's an honor to have you on, and it's an honor to have Grover's piece over at SaveJersey.com. You know that we love the stuff that you and Grover put out. We've published some material from you in the past. So we know that Phil Murphy is a liar, right? That's a known fact for our audience here at 1210 WPHT, which takes in the southern half of New Jersey. But with budget season upon us, more broken promises are on the horizon. Can you explain to us, with what our friend Rich Zeoli calls King Philip the Unaccountable, can you explain to us what he has in store for New Jerseyans now?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, the governor is lying about what he was going to do on taxes, but it's New Jersey taxpayers who have to pay the price for this lie. Listeners might recall that back during the gubernatorial race, when he was debating Jack Ciattarelli, Governor Murphy said he was not going to raise taxes anymore. He said multiple times, he said, I pledge not to raise taxes, which ATR, Americans for Tax Reform, we generally like to hear. And he also said we're done raising taxes, acknowledging all of the tax increases he'd already pushed through during his first term. But that promise is not held up. And as you noted, we're going into the final days of budget negotiations in Trenton, another terrifying time for New Jersey taxpayers. And already, even before the ink is dry on a new budget, the governor has signed a bill that increases the gas tax in the state more than it would already increase. He signed legislation to undermine the 2% property tax cap. So those have already been done. And now we're heading into budget negotiations wondering, is it going to be a sales tax increase? Is it going to be reinstating the corporate income tax surcharge? What tax hikes are New Jerseyans going to get hit with next? And it's just been an unrelenting assault. And I know you have very smart listeners who probably didn't buy the Murphy promise off the bat, but it really just draws a contrast on his shamelessness on this tax stuff. And his first term, another thing that you also published at SaveJersey.com, when we look back at his first term going into that reelect, we saw he had pushed through $2.7 billion in tax hikes. But I think the big warning that we saw before this even happened was that he had $4 billion in tax increases that he had proposed during his first term. So he had tax hikes that he had pitched that didn't even get done, despite what felt like just an onslaught of tax hike after tax hike year after year. So he had plenty of bad ideas on the table, but it's killing the state, and it's making the state incredibly uncompetitive. As we get to work in multiple states, we see around the country, predominantly red states, but not only, cutting income taxes. We've had around 30 income tax cuts in the state since 2020. And maybe Phil Murphy and the leadership in New Jersey misunderstood the competition, because they're trying to be number one, but in the wrong direction on the highest tax burden. And now they want the sales tax to be higher. We want the corporate rate to go back to the highest in the country. Trying to chase the gas tax up to go after California and Pennsylvania. It's a complete disaster, and we can only highlight what's going on and push back.
That was one promise he made good on, though, Doug. I do have to say, back in 2017, when he ran the first time, he promised that he would endeavor to make New Jersey the California of the East Coast. We don't have the palm trees. We don't have wine country, although we've got some nice wineries down in South Jersey. But the rest of it, he's followed through. We are on the way. These taxes continue to climb. It's a taxpayer hellscape in my home state. And the only reason we didn't lose more population in the last census, because some lefties in my state have been using that as validation for their worldview. Oh, look, we didn't lose a congressional seat. Things must not be as bad as guys like Doug Kellogg and Matt Rooney say they are. Well, that was only because people were fleeing New York City and Philadelphia, the only places on the map that might be crazier and worse in these respects. Now, over the weekend, Doug, it looks like we may have a little clarity as to what Phil Murphy has planned for the coming fiscal year. Allegedly, I don't think we have confirmation yet, but he's allegedly reached a deal with Democrats who control the legislature. There is a corporate transit fee, right? They love calling things something other than a tax when they really are, which is going to be brought into effect in lieu of a sales tax increase. 600 corporations in New Jersey that make at least $10 million a year in profits are going to pay a new 2.5% tax on earnings for 5 years. And that's going to be retroactive back to the beginning of 2024. And let's be clear with people about something here, Doug. This is not money that's going to go to schools. This is not money that's going to be dedicated to fixing the potholes that cause me to have to get my car realigned 3 or 4 times a year living in South Jersey. This is for NJ Transit, the system that just left a bunch of people stranded at Penn Station over the weekend, or heading into the weekend.
Yeah, and that is on the laundry list of the tax threats. And it's there's a couple of things there. And one is, the money is fungible. So anytime the tax hikes are getting thrown out, they're always going to pay for the puppies and rainbows. And that's it. Only things that nobody could argue with. But even if it's truly dedicated funding, it still gives room for them to spend on other priorities. The other thing is transit agencies are just a notorious black hole. You see that issue in Philadelphia, New Jersey Transit, the MTA in New York. And none of these efforts to send money to the transit authorities are accompanied by what is really needed, which is serious audits with consequences and opportunities to reform these agencies to get costs under control. Why are they just money pits that continuously spend money? And we can't get to the bottom of it. So the taxpayers don't get the trade-off of any kind of accountability for that kind of proposal. And it still is going to give them the room to keep spending more. And those overall spending levels are what's driving the demand for tax hikes, and will continue to do so if they don't turn off the spending spigot. I mean, the budget's, over 30% larger than the first Murphy budget this year. We'll see what the final number is. But that inability to spend responsibly means that this phony fee, actual tax, and more tax hikes are just going to be continuous threats.
Yeah, they recently raised the gas tax again in New Jersey, but not for roads, for NJ Transit. And there was a proposal on the table to audit NJ Transit, the system that's melting down, especially in a heat wave when commuters need it to work efficiently the most. Naturally, that got killed. So I think taxpayers, ratepayers, whoever, fare payers need to consider, why are the people in power so opposed to having an honest look at how their money is spent, how it's managed? There's no good faith reason for refusing it. They're trying to hide something. They're trying to mask their own incompetence or worse. Doug Kellogg over at Americans for Tax Reform. Can you remind us how to find you guys online, and you in particular over on X and elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you should find us at atr.org. That's the website, Groups Americans for Tax Reform. On Twitter, it's at Tax Reformer. But if you search Americans for Tax Reform, you should find us online, all social media platforms as well.
And we'll definitely drag you and/or Grover back soon, if not to talk about this budget season. 2025 gubernatorial election in New Jersey, we have to get your take on what horrors emerge from that ongoing debate. We now have like 15 Democrats in the race already, all trying to outdo each other with new spending and tax proposals. We got to find out who in the Republican side signs the ATR pledge. Much to discuss, so we hope you'll be back soon.
Anytime. Thanks again, Matt.
Thanks, Doug. Doug Kellogg, everyone, from ATR. Definitely check them out online. One of the places I go to when I'm trying to demystify some of these government attempts to grab your cash. 2 hours done. Check that out. It flew, Andrew. That's what happens when you're having fun, or so they say. But we still have a full hour left to go. And guess who we got? We have a guest in studio. Adam Wingate, the newly minted chairman of the Gloucester County Republican Party, is with us. He will join us here on 1210 WPHT in just a second. And we'll try to fit in however much else we can before the hour is gone. Our week does not start on Monday morning around here. It starts on Sunday night with the Matt Rooney Show, where we prepare you for what lies ahead. So stick with us through this final hour. Back in just a moment.
Lexus of Cherry Hill, a 6-time J.D. Power dealer of excellence for customer service. Why would you buy your Lexus from anyone else? The 2024 Lexus models are here and moving fast, and the newly redesigned 2024 Lexus GX has arrived. Tony Labello and his team are your source for the Lexus of your dreams. Over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock. You deserve a Lexus and award-winning customer service. Start your journey with family-owned and operated Lexus of Cherry Hill.
For J.D. Power dealer of excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Let me tell you about my buddy, Dr. Mike Veneri, a great guy. Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, or implant dentistry, look no further. Dr. Veneri and his award-winning team, they have your whole family covered, just like mine. Dr. Veneri's office exceeds CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control with centralized UV sterilization of airflow to ensure your safety. Locations right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, 856-786-2020 or veneriadental.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS has raised the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes in recent years. This hits hard if you're behind on your taxes. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. If you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A 36-year-old man is charged with attempted murder in the shooting of an officer in North Philadelphia. Thousands flocked to the Manayunk Arts Festival Sunday despite oppressive heat. The city's Tax Reform Commission is expected to hear from business leaders this week looking to cut wage and business taxes in the city.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
At places of worship and a police precinct. Officials now say more than 15 policemen and several civilians were killed. Russia believes ISIS is responsible. Meanwhile, at the site of the Tree of Life Synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh 6 years ago,
may the door of this institution be wide enough to receive all who hunger.
There was a ceremony and groundbreaking today for a new campus. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
Today, we commit ourselves to ensuring that their memory and the memory of that day will never be forgotten.
11 were killed in that attack. The first 2024 presidential debate is coming up Thursday night. So who will take control on stage? Republican North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum told CNN.
There has been a real effort on the Biden team to try to lower expectations, but I think we have to look at the guy's run for office more than a dozen times. He's run for president 4 times. He's been campaigning since President Nixon was in office.
Burgum's also on former President Trump's shortlist for the potential VP. Young voters will be hugely important in this election, but according to the latest CBS News poll, they aren't all in. Here's White House reporter Willie James Inman.
While young voters prefer Biden, only 66% of registered young voters say they will definitely vote this year, compared to 94% of those 65 and older, while 48% of those under 30 say neither candidate understands younger people.
Swimmer Katie Ledecky won an 800-meter freestyle race yesterday at the U.S. Olympic swimming team trials. But what makes this win even more significant than usual is the 7-time Olympic champion became the first woman to win 4 titles in a single event ever at the U.S. trials. So that means she's now won gold in the event at the last 3 games. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SAVE, or text SAVE to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SAVE.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You can be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SAVE to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
So,
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Matt Rooney. On Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Well, Fox News was able to admit this much, even though they have that ridiculous poll out showing Trump slipping. We know he's not. Candidate age concerns if reelected. Only Biden is too old, 28%. Only Trump is too old, 2%. What's that phrase that you use in the White House, Andrew? Vigor? Incredible vigor?
Something like that.
Yeah. We'll see if Biden can bring his vigor, if he can find it. Lost under his bed somewhere. Hunter probably snorted it, if I had to guess. When it's time to debate Donald Trump on Thursday night. I mentioned it in the beginning of the program tonight, folks. You're on the Matt Rooney Show. I'm filled with trepidation for this debate on Thursday because you know it's a trap, right? The legacy media and these network moderated debates, they're never trying to make Trump look good, and they're going to pump Joe Biden full of God knows what, something that's probably only ordinarily seen back in the days of the old Soviet bloc when they were preparing their wrestlers and other Olympians for athletic competition. I wonder whether or not he should have agreed to do this debate, even though I'm a pro-debate guy. I think candidates should subject themselves to the public scrutiny. But you also understand it, right? Let's set strategy aside for a second. Imagine you're Donald Trump, which is harder to do now perhaps than ever before. But the things they say about you, the things they're doing to you, it's got to be irresistible, Andrew, when you have the opportunity to finally confront Joe Biden and say to his face what he's probably said angrily into a mirror many, many times since this episode began.
Ever since they agreed to do the debate, or even probably thinking about it 4 years ago. How am I gonna get back at this, and what am I gonna say to the guy? And
so I'm gonna watch it on Thursday, obviously, and then we'll be prepared to talk about it next Sunday night. We'll probably bring the whole crew in, probably get Cerrucci on here, to help us
get your popcorn ready,
parse through it. Oh, it's pop that popcorn. Get the extra big Orville Redenbacher bag. You can't get the little 100-calorie packs.
No,
those are for wimps. You got to get the big, authentic butter.
Yeah, and we got to bring our own butter too. Like the microwave in the room in the break room over there. We got to melt it. Got to get it all ready.
Well, nothing's working in the break room anyway.
Really?
Regular listeners know that I like to get my Coca-Cola once a show, and I stuck my credit card in. Nothing's happening.
Terrible.
The screen goes blank.
Well, the coffee machine isn't working either because the filter needs to be replaced, and I don't know how.
That's
to do
still
that.
Not working this week.
You can only get hot chocolate and stuff.
Oh, the hot chocolate's working.
Hot chocolate's working, but it's 9:00 at night on a Sunday. It's that's a lot of sugar.
I need whatever caffeine I can get by the time we get to the 9 o'clock hour. So I might just have to have a hot chocolate here.
Maybe.
On a 95-degree day in Philadelphia. That's what Odyssey has reduced me to here, folks. Can someone who's listening, I'm sure somebody's listening and reporting us to HR, can you please fix something over there in the break room?
Well, it's the weekend, so maybe somebody will do it when Monday and Tuesday roll around.
More is broken now than when we were here last week, though, and they had an entire week.
I'm just trying to be optimistic about it.
How hard is it to replace a coffee filter?
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm trying to be hopeful for this upcoming week.
You're showing your newness with your optimism here.
What else? That's all I got, my newness and optimism.
I guess that's true. Until you can bring back Angelo's Pizza, nothing that you could possibly say can impress me or make anything feel any better. 855-839-1210 is the number here, by the way, on the Matt Rooney Show. Write it on your arm, put it on your phone. That's how you call in and opine. And the phones have been a little busy this evening. Just sit tight, right? This isn't woke Disney. There's no fast passes or genie passes you can pay for. You just have to wait till Andrew can get to you. And he might not. No promises, right? This isn't a postmodern woke parental little league where everybody gets a trophy, right? You either win or you don't. You get through or you don't. But I'll try if we can get to you after we get to everything else that we have to do. You can also check us out over on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Give us a like if you're feeling generous. You can also participate in the comments, which I got to tell you folks have been weirder than usual tonight. I love you all. But I have no idea what it is you're talking about. A different level of irrelevance tonight, Andrew. Wouldn't you agree? Over in the comments section.
It's like a whole nother show is happening.
Yeah, at some point I saw a Latvian flag.
Right.
And someone apologized to me at some point and said, you probably think we're nuts. I do. But so long as you keep listening and driving our ratings ever.
But that's a part of building the brand and building the show.
Yeah.
Crazy fans.
I'm a capitalist. I don't care if you're nuts.
The Dallas Cowboys have been running off of crazy fans for decades.
That's exactly right. So Zioli has an army. I have Rooney's mental patience. It doesn't quite.
You got the Army Reserve. We'll call it the Army Reserve.
I got the people that were drummed out because they failed their mental acuity test.
Or the physical test. They couldn't do the physical test.
That's right. Rooney's ragtag army of. Well, here we go. Well, it is
the island of misfit toys. We'll call it that.
The island of misfit toys. I like that. So am I like the lion with the crown? No, probably not. I'm the Jack in the Box.
You're the Jack in the Box.
That doesn't pop or whatever.
Well,
I'll tell
it doesn't pop. You pop every fourth time, and when you come out of the box, the only thing you ever say is Trump.
Have you been talking to my wife?
Absolutely not.
It's entirely possible based upon that description. I generally think of myself as the train with square wheels. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that for a second.
A lot of desire and good intent, but got square wheels. Where am I going?
Right.
Let's get down to. There's a Latvian flag again, and she's tagging Natasha. I don't even want to know. We're calling the FBI on all of you. 855-839-1210 is the number. Let's get hour number 3, Trace, for our bilingual listeners, underway. We have an in-studio guest, which we like to do from time to time when we can lure someone over here to the banks of the mighty Schuylkill. The man I have in the studio tonight is crazy enough to take on what I think is ordinarily one of the most thankless jobs in the political hierarchy. It's being a county party chairman. We talk a lot about the 30,000-foot positions on this show, right? President, governor, the people that have national profiles that are making the headlines on websites like Real Clear Politics, right? But we know that the old saying is true. All politics is local, and whether it be New Jersey or Pennsylvania or wherever else in this grand union of ours, oftentimes whether or not the big races are won at loss turn on whether or not there are strong county organizations to carry that party banner forward through the towns, hamlets, municipalities that comprise a great state like New Jersey. The gentleman who joins me now, Adam Wingate, was just elected this past week to serve as chairman of the Gloucester County Republican Party, which, as I explained to some of you that are not familiar with Gloucester County, or you think of it just as that, pretty bucolic location on the map you drive through on the way to the Jersey Shore, this is one of the last few swing counties in the state of New Jersey. Most counties in the state of New Jersey, if you look at the county row officers, they're completely controlled by one party. There's only a few left that are split, and Gloucester County is one of those spots on the map. Donald Trump narrowly carried Gloucester County in 2016. He very narrowly lost it in 2020. I think it's going to be a bellwether in 2024. But how Gloucester County's fate ultimately turns out this cycle may turn in part on what the gentleman sitting across from me here in the studio is able to accomplish. No pressure, Adam Wingate.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me tonight.
No, we appreciate you making it over here. We're happy to have you in studio. Andrew and I, it's always good when we get to talk to somebody besides ourselves, right, Andy? Makes us get a little squirrely.
Yeah.
We
end up talking about naming armies and all that other kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. So it's good that we get socialization with other much more normal human beings here at the studio on Sunday night. Let's talk about your election, and congratulations, I think, on becoming Gloucester County Republican chairman. And we were joking earlier before you came on air. I say that because it is a thankless job. It's a lot of work. You get all the blame. You get all the credit depending upon what happens in your county. And you have a big job coming up this year. You've got some seats to defend, and you have to lay the groundwork for some big control races in the year to come. So backing up a little bit further, who are you, right? Where do you come from? What's your background that explains how you got involved in this political game in New Jersey?
So, as you said before, Adam Wingate. My local town is Harrison Township. Harrison Township has been a Republican town for 30, 40 years. We had a little
home of Big Al, who called in the first hour.
He's one of our huge supporters. He's a great guy. He's boots on the ground for us in Harrison Township. About 2015, 16, we actually went independent, became Steve Sweeney's independents. We were able to win those seats back 2 years ago. Last year, we picked up control of Harrison Township. It's the first time in 10 years that we actually had Republican control in Gloucester County. That's the culture we want to bring to Gloucester County, is what we set forth in Harrison to bring to Gloucester County.
Yeah, in Harrison Township, we were talking about it early. It's a beautiful spot. Have you ever been to Naples Pizzeria?
Absolutely.
And is it as good as Andrew's saying it is?
Very good. Absolutely.
Okay.
They're very often.
Well, that's two. He counts as a local.
I told you.
So I didn't say that you were necessarily lying.
Well, you were like, we needed confirmation. You were like, oh, call Big Al or call my homeschool friend, and
you weren't enough. Your recommendation on its own wasn't enough.
Well, you said you needed a local. I'm not from that area, but now we got our in-studio guest, and I'm sure if we did call Big Al or my homeschool buddy, he would tell us.
Well, it's like when you look something up online, you only see one rating in your suspect.
Right, it's like a perfect 5-star rating, but it's only like 2 reviews.
You assume it's the person that's selling the thing or running the place. When you see 2, that's when
a lot of fake accounts out there.
A lot of fake accounts. All right, so we're gonna check out Naples Pizza. So, what made you decide to run for Gloucester County Republican chairman this time around?
So what it was is actually, this goes back a couple of years. We saw great victories in 2021. We picked up a Senate seat with former Senator Ed Durr, picked up 2 assembly seats. We picked up that row office that you talked about, and Sheriff John Salmons, which that seat is up for re-election this year. The 2 commissioner seats we picked up. We had, I ran with Steve in 2021, Steve Pacarduni from Washington Township, the chairman over there. And then we came up about 1% short, in 2021. 2022, there was discrepancies in the primary. The wheels started to fall off the train later part of 2021 and 2022. And, after last year, it was just, Gloucester County, like you say, is a swing county. This is a county that should be Republican. We are outvoted, out-demographed by 25,000 Democrats, but this is a county that can be Republican, and it should be Republican. So to get
it's full of Trump Democrats. You've heard that. You've heard 100%. That phrase before. But I just saw, for instance, this past week, Donald Trump announced that he's invited the president of the Teamsters to speak at the Republican National Convention. He's accepted. It's historic. But Gloucester County is full of those types of Democrats, working men and women who their grandfathers voted for FDR, their fathers voted for JFK and Bill Clinton, but they don't feel at home anymore in the Democrat Party that Joe Biden leads.
That is correct.
Yeah, and they're all over the place in your county. And that's one of the reasons. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but that's one of the reasons why I think Gloucester County has moved from being a light shade of blue to being purple, arguably light red in recent cycles.
The very educated voter we have in Gloucester County.
Yeah, you've got a ton of them. And just to give everybody a little bit of orientation, because again, the Delaware Valley is a pretty big place. Gloucester Township, Harrison Township, which most people think of Mullica Hill, which is a census designated area inside of the township. You also have Washington Township, which is that the most populous town in Gloucester County? It's got to be, right?
Yep, it's our largest municipality.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mr. Washington Township over here off screen to confirm that. It's a growing county, lots of development in recent years, and for many years it's been controlled by kind of an offshoot, a cadet branch of the Norcross machine, led by Steve Sweeney, former Senate president, member of the state Senate in New Jersey, ran the Gloucester County branch of the Camden County Democrat machine, which spans South Jersey for many years. Ed Durr shocked him and upset him and defeated him a few years ago. Sadly, Ed wasn't able to hang on. Now Steve is running for governor, which, especially in the wake of this Norcross indictment, I mean, I can't believe he's still going forward with this thing. I saw he was at an event in Ocean County where there's like 4 Democrats in the entire county, and they were all at his event the other night. But it has to be kind of a running joke in Gloucester County that Steve thinks he can be governor.
It is. And we actually tried to run on the what we called the Friends and Family plan of Steve Sweeney a couple years ago. You know, if you follow it from George to Steve and then break it down through the municipalities and all the family members that have jobs throughout the county, you know, it's like the whole T-Mobile thing, you know, Friends and Family plan. Well, it's a Friends and Family plan of Steve Sweeney.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what it's about. And I mean, we kind of saw a reflection of this past week, and it's a big story in your county and in my county of Camden, all across South Jersey and New Jersey as a whole. The indictment of George Norcross, who's kind of the head of this machine that's dominated South Jersey politics for 30 years now. The Attorney General of New Jersey, who's a Democrat, Matt Plackens, accused him of running a criminal enterprise. So, you know, obviously we want to be careful about what we say on air here because I don't want to get a nasty letter from Norcross's attorneys. Not that I really care, but then Stocker will care, Andrew, and we don't want to have to deal with that. But this is how the South Jersey machine operates, right? It's all about enriching themselves. And what has always ticked me off, Mr. Chairman, and I know that you probably spent a lot of time on the campaign trail talking to Gloucester County residents about this. The excuse we always get for the corruption is, well, we're benefiting South Jersey. We're giving South Jersey a voice. Look how much we've accomplished. And the unspoken implication is, hey, it's okay if we fleece you all, if maybe occasionally we pave a road, you know, or maybe, we have a little bit of a say in Trenton. I don't know about you. My roads still stink. My schools are still underfunded. Crime is rampant, you know. I'm not seeing the benefit of the Norcross machine, and I suspect Gloucester County residents are not seeing the benefit of the Norcross machine's legacy.
You can tell what school districts and what townships are a part of the Friends and Family plan.
Yeah,
and you can tell between the school funding and the projects that get done.
Yeah, no, it's insane. So here's hoping that Steve Sweeney. I think it's going to be a failure to launch thing. I don't know if he actually makes it to the actual Democrat primary next year because there wasn't much of a demand for him already. And now in the wake of this whole Norcross thing, I mean, they're tied at the hip, right? This was his top lieutenant for a long, long time. So it might be hard for him to weather. So often we think in the political realm, because it never seems to turn out that way, people don't seem to care enough about corruption. Right. Maybe they're used to it. They've become desensitized to it. Gloucester County, maybe there's an argument in recent cycles that hasn't been the case, that maybe it hits so close to home because they've lived under the thumb of this machine. Moving forward this year in 2024 and then beyond, do you think this Norcross indictment and the corruption that's been rampant in Gloucester County is going to be a big part of the message that your organization brings to the voters of Gloucester County?
Absolutely. And this is a major opportunity for Republicans in Gloucester and Camden County as well. I mean, Gloucester County, believe it or not, is the 23rd highest taxed county in the country.
In the country?
In the country.
Think about that for a second. And again, Gloucester County, I mean, it's got some lovely neighborhoods, obviously, but you don't think of it as like, some of these communities in Morris that's just one McMansion after another.
Right.
It's a working class, middle class kind of place, and yet it ranks that high nationally.
Yes.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning. So let's talk a little bit about what else you hope to accomplish as head of the Gloucester County Republican Party. What do you think? You're County Party, but also the South Jersey Republican Party needs to do generally to do a better job of reaching out to those voters who are hopefully going to help turn it red in the years to come.
Yeah. I mean, listen, our short-term plan this year is obviously to retain our seats. We have an awesome sheriff. We say it's New Jersey's best sheriff. A little biased there. And we have 2 commissioner seats that we must maintain this year, going in and create a control race for 2025 next year, and join forces with the other strong Republican counties that we have around us: Cape May County, Atlantic County, Cumberland, Salem. We have friends all over. We can't alienate. We need to make our friends through South Jersey and make the South Jersey, red and strong.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Red and strong.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, I know you're down for it. If you could pull that off and bring back Angelo's Pizza from Philadelphia, that may be the ultimate test. Actually,
it's a tall order.
Yeah, if you can make such progress in the years to come in Gloucester County that Angelo's decides we're going to come back from Philadelphia,
I'd commit.
After leaving in 2019, you would go knock doors probably, right?
Heck yeah.
I'd love to have a location in Harrison Township's a little bit further for me. As much as I love it, it's a beautiful place, and there's already
negotiable.
Naples Pizza.
It's for the right thing, and it could be worked out.
Washington Township, though,
there's
already a lot of pizza there.
A little too far for me, though.
But it's close to a lot of highways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what about Morristown? Has a lot of highways.
Yeah, but Morristown is not in Gloucester County.
Okay.
Dingus.
Well, I'm a little greedy with it, okay? Can you blame me for wanting to get that stuff?
You're just trying to move everything closer to you.
It's closer to you, too. Cherry Hill's right there.
No,
I'm helping you out at the same time.
That is true. You're looking out for me, and I'm doing what Zioli does and torturing you. And I shouldn't do that. I'm sorry.
You probably talked to him before the show.
Zioli?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't talked to Rich.
Oh, okay.
Rich, who's that? I don't know who Zioli is. So, are you going to the Republican convention? Are you going out there?
No,
Who's going from Gloucester County?
There'll be.
Do we know?
Former Chairwoman Specs.
Okay. All right. So you're going to have somebody going out there to the convention, and then of course the presidential election is going to loom large this year. You said you have some defenses that you have to look out for on the ballot, and obviously you have to support your ticket. Do you think Donald Trump's going to win Gloucester County this year?
Absolutely.
Think he's going to pull it out?
Yeah. I mean, it starts with our biggest towns too. I mean, Washington Township, there's a race for mayor. Mayor has been won there in 25 years. Washington Township is the backbone of our Gloucester County. We also have major races in Mantua Township as well. I do think that Gloucester County will be won by Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, and he came very close in 2020, despite losing by double digits across the state. So it's entirely possible that he's going to pull it out. And I keep telling people, watch Gloucester County on election night. I think it's going to tell you a lot about how things are ultimately going to go. What do you think is the key to Donald Trump's success specifically in Gloucester County? We've talked about how there's Trump Democrats there. Why do you think he appeals to your neighbors?
You mentioned earlier, it's the blue collar workers that we have in our county. He came here, he visits here, he knows New Jersey. New Jersey is a very highly corrupted state, which follows down through Gloucester County. He appeals to our voters just because of what he's going to do, the whole tips thing that he's going to do for our waitresses and waiters, what he's going to do for the payroll taxes, what he's already said. I know business owners throughout the state that I talk to and the county are thrilled for that. He appeals to South Jersey and New Jersey in general. I'd be surprised if he doesn't pull off New Jersey as a whole.
Bold claim. Bold claim. I think he could come as close as any Republicans come in a while. We mentioned earlier George W. Bush came within 5 sex points of winning in 2004. So that would really make some people's heads explode. So I would be all about that. You're right about the tips. I got some grief on last week's show because I said it was brilliant politics. And some of our friends on the right who are ardent free market thinkers, and I obviously am sympathetic to that, don't like the idea of a president carving out a new niche in the tax code to help anybody out, regardless of who they are. But it's smart politics, regardless of what you think of it from an ideological point of view. And there's plenty of evidence that it's having some success. Andrew, can we play a cut? Is that too much to ask?
No, that's why I'm here.
This is cut 8. So Las Vegas, Nevada is about as far away. I was wondering why you were here, by the way. You just said that's why you're here to play the cuts. I was starting to wonder.
tech stuff, running the soundboard, and I'm not just a pretty face.
You're not just a pretty face. He actually does things in there. So Las Vegas, Nevada, about as far away on the map as you could possibly be from Gloucester County. But I think that there's some similarities when we're talking about working Americans and what they find in Donald Trump that's agreeable and makes them want to get out there and support him. This is cut. Math is hard. Let's see. Which one's my Las Vegas cut? 8. Let's play number 8.
For my workers, it definitely would help. We are a small business, so it's not like you're dealing with these big restaurants where it would impact them a lot. But I mean, as for myself, I think it would be a little less paperwork for myself. For my employees, maybe they would enjoy it. They would like it.
Yeah, I think it is a great idea.
Makes you more likely to vote for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hear that? Those are workers at Las Vegas, Nevada, saying they're more likely to vote for Donald Trump. That's what they told CBS News. Now, Nevada has not voted for a Republican for president, I think, since 2004. So something appears to be happening out there. It may be happening in Gloucester County, too.
He sympathizes with back pocket issues. Right now, people are struggling on their day-to-day lives. He's realizing that, and he's looking for solutions to put money back into people's pockets.
Now, what are the big issues in Gloucester County specifically? Because we're talking about these national issues that are affecting everyone. Inflation, concerns with Biden's ability to lead overseas. The list is too voluminous for us to get to, even in 3 hours of the national issues and international issues that give us cause for concern where Mr. Biden is concerned. But there's always some local interesting issues which drive local elections. What is on the mind of Gloucester County voters as they head into this cycle?
There's a couple of things. We had a tragic event that happened a couple of years ago that is still on the voters' minds. That whole case got sent up to the AG's office. I think right now, to be honest with you, the voters' minds are what we hear a lot is the school funding. The schools are just severely, as you know, the cuts have happened time and time again. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is that a lot of people are even leaving public schools and heading private. That happened with the education that's happening in our schools. And that's something we can solve next year in 2025 in the legislative races.
I think who you're referring to a moment ago with Ember the dog, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you not know what we're talking about, and it was talked about on this station, not just by this program, but some others. This was a canine dog that was in the employ of Gloucester County that died mysteriously, left in a vehicle, allegedly under its handler's care. And at one point, I thought this got referred for an investigation, but I haven't heard anything else about it. So it may seem like a small issue, even though many of us love animals and we don't like cruelty to animals. But it's something that certainly we would like to get to the bottom of, because I think, Mr. Chairman, it's also symbolic of the mismanagement in Gloucester County, right? It's not just a dog. It's emblematic of their attitude of disrespect towards everyone and everything that's under the care of these Sweeney Norcross Democrats.
Untouchable is the word probably. They think they're untouchable.
Yeah. Well, they're arrogance, but what do they say? Pride always comes before the fall. So we'll see what happens this fall in Gloucester County and beyond under the leadership of Adam Wingate. Adam, we appreciate you joining us on the Matt Rooney Show for a little bit on Sunday night to fill us in. I know you got your hands full. There's plenty on your plate right now. How do we find the Gloucester County Republicans online if any of our listeners want to get involved?
So we're actually going through the transition right now. We're finalizing that. Right now, our Facebook is up right now. It's Gloucester County Republican Party. And the new website will be launched by the end of this week.
Well, send it over to me, and then
Absolutely.
We'll make sure that we tweet it out. Pack will do it, even if you forget. That's what he does, right? That he takes the photos. Adam Wingate, appreciate you joining us on 1210 WPHT and taking the trek over here.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, folks, we are capitalists on this program, so we're going to take another time out to play some ads, make some money, and we'll be back with more on the Matt Rooney Show in just a second. See you in a minute.
For more than 50 years, Delaware Valley homeowners have called Oliver for their heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, Oliver's expert plumbers can handle that. No power, outdated electrical panel, Oliver's licensed electricians can help. No AC, Oliver has same-day service, flexible financing, and the industry's best warranties. For fast service you can trust, call Oliver today or visit online at oliverheatcool.com.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
Don't miss the Friends and Family Savings event at National Appliance Warehouse. Purchase a qualifying Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove appliance package and choose 3 years of additional warranty or a rebate up to $2,500. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. 4th of July coming up. Don't forget Captain Chucky's locations everywhere. Try that all-new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. Delicious, creamy, 5-ounce Jumbo Lump breaded crab cake with a kick. Check stores for availability. WeLoveCrabCakes.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Join Team Kale & Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com. Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
For anyone that wants to know more about the Norcross indictment, this is, if The Sopranos and Breaking Bad had a baby, and then that baby was raised in the Pine Barrens. I'm trying to think of a way to describe.
Why do you got to mention those two shows? Huh?
You've seen one of them.
Yeah. Now you're still making it sound like you're talking to Zioli before you got on today.
I never.
Mm-hmm.
I plead the fifth.
Oh, that makes it 100% better.
I plead the fifth. I'm just trying to think like a South Jersey Democrat, right? I plead the fifth.
I'm not going to incriminate what I'm doing is for the benefit of the people of New Jersey.
Spoken like a true politician. We were talking to Adam Wingate a minute ago. We were talking about a bunch of stuff in South Jersey, including the Norcross indictment. You got to check this thing out. It's a bear. I'm not going to lie. I think I said it's a 111-page indictment by the Attorney General in the state of New Jersey. There's so many angles to this thing. One is the accusation that Norcross had this alleged criminal enterprise that was more or less using Camden, the city of Camden, as a piggy bank, a personal piggy bank, where these and we maybe we'll do more on this on the show next week because it is worth getting into. But there's allegations of the misuse of taxpayer credits, right, that were signed by the Economic Development Authority, and that ultimately this ended up being an attempted nearly $300 million fraud. It's insane. They're going to make a movie about this at some point, okay? And, of course, they're all allegations, but the evidence is pretty darn damning, if we're being honest here. And one of the crazy aspects of this whole thing, okay, is that those of you that have followed New Jersey politics closely know of the tragic deaths of John and Joy Sheridan about a decade ago now. John was a very politically powerful guy in New Jersey, worked for various governors. He was most recently at Cooper University before his demise. It was originally believed to be a suicide. But the more you delve into it, and there's a great podcast out there on this topic, Dead End, a New Jersey political murder mystery, that questioned whether or not it was indeed a suicide, right? And since that, the deaths of John and Joy Sheridan have been revisited and ruled now as a undetermined death. I mean, I will tell you, you look at the evidence that's been compiled, there's very strong evidence that it was not a suicide, that something happened to these two people. And now what we find out is that the thing that John Sheridan was upset about, because it's well documented he was very upset in the weeks leading up to his death, are now the subject of this massive 111-page indictment, a land deal in the city of Camden. So I want to be very clear about this, as I was in the post that I wrote at Save Jersey this past week. No one in this indictment has been accused of being involved with what happened to John and Joy Sheridan. There's no direct or indirect evidence. I'm simply pointing out that New Jersey politics, who knows how deep the rabbit hole goes in the murky world, in the disgusting, corrupt world, okay, that is New Jersey politics. And it'd be really great if we had John Sheridan around to tell us exactly what he knew about these land deals in Camden. Unfortunately, we don't. He's not with us anymore. But I am very much looking forward to seeing what comes of these indictments and what else we learn about corruption in South Jersey as this prosecution moves forward. It seems like Matt Placken, who I've never been the guy's biggest fan, he's a far left woke Democrat attorney general in New Jersey. But what do they say, Andrew? A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
And
eventually.
He seems to have animus for the South Jersey machine, just the way many Republicans and independent voters and people that just care about good government also do. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening in the weeks and months ahead. A little bit more levity, assuming you think it's funny. I mean, it probably really isn't, because this woman is one heartbeat from the presidency. Kamala Harris, we have some more stupid Kamala Harris clips. It has been said that she's comparable to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character on Veep, Vice President and then eventually President Selena Meyer. Sorry for the spoiler there if you've never seen the show, but it's kind of obvious from the title what ends up happening. This is Kamala Harris's latest word salad. Even for Kamala Harris, I had a little bit trouble unpacking this one, Andrew, I have to tell you. But I'm going to subject you folks to it all the same because I had to hear it. This is cut number 4.
My fellow Americans,
That's
words
cut number
have
4,
many
actually. That's my bad. I gave you 2.
People stand together when we use our collective voice, when we stand in solidarity. We can drive extraordinary change because it is we who stand together as the collective who have the power and the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been.
Why? Did you catch any of that? I have no idea what she's talking about. Well, I never have any idea what Kamala Harris is talking about. Is it any wonder why the American people are losing confidence in this White House? You know, and I mean, what does she do to try to distinguish herself and push back a criticism that she's a lightweight? She had that photo op this past week with the guys from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, with the one guy that looked like Pride Month Jesus. Did you see him? Yeah, you saw him. You didn't see him?
No, I didn't see him.
Oh, yeah, just search on X or any of the social media platforms, Pride Month Jesus. One of the Queer Eye for the Straight Guys came into the White House with a full beard and some kind of strange Jesus robe. I don't know how else to describe it. It's absolutely bizarre. But I mentioned that Kamala and Julia Louis-Dreyfus have a lot in common, or at least their character has a lot in common. This is a cut from a year ago on The Daily Show. I've never been the world's biggest fan of The Daily Show, but again, on the theme of a broken clock is right twice a day, this is a mix of Selena Meyer from V, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Kamala Harris. Can you tell the difference? I suspect you probably can't. Cut number 5.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are children of the community.
Well, we are the United States of America because we are united. And we are states.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Whatever we have in store cannot be known. The past was once the future. The future is, I should say, unknown.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
I hope that clarifies the issue, and this can be the last word on those words.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right, and that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
This is why, like, for example, we're talking a lot about Rich Zeoli tonight and his bullying of Andrew, the producer. Rich and I know some other people think that Biden's going to be replaced at the Democrat National Convention. My retort to that is, who are they going to replace him with? Kamala? And what's behind her in line ain't much better. And if they try to circumvent Kamala, it's going to be a disaster for Democrats because they're going to have to explain why they booted the heir apparent, the black female vice president, right? When she was right there ready to serve. Biden's going to be on the ticket, okay? Biden is running. They don't have a better option. The question is whether or not the media can cover for him sufficiently to help him salvage his presidency. That's the only thing that remains to be seen. 855-839-1210 is the number here on the Matt Rooney Show. One more quick break, and then we'll be back to round out the program in a moment.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A 36-year-old man is charged with attempted murder in the shooting of an officer in North Philadelphia. Thousands flocked to the Manayunk Arts Festival Sunday despite oppressive heat. The city's Tax Reform Commission is expected to hear from business leaders this week looking to cut wage and business taxes in the city.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
See Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra in a tribute to Philly sports fans on the Boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey, Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Free speech lives here, on the air, and on the Odyssey app. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
The last thing I want to do is ruin a good show by talking about Taylor Swift, one of my least favorite subjects. But it's all over the internet tonight. Apparently, she had a concert, and she told her audience, about 80,000 people over the weekend, to, quote, F the patriarchy, end quote.
It's a great quote.
Brilliant social commentary there from Taylor
It's
Swift.
a great quote.
Yeah. I'm going to put this in terms that some of you Taylor Swift fans can understand. She's so basic. She doesn't do anything to add to the discussion or the discourse, right? I mean, it's just, for someone we're told is such a genius,
I hope
that's her commentary.
I just hope she understands who the patriarchy is.
Tell her.
I mean, it's the established people that
she's supporting.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's telling everybody to vote for the patriarchy.
Yes. What's Joe Biden?
the grandfather of the patriarchy?
He is the grandfather of the patriarchy. Looks like the great-grandfather sometimes.
Yeah, acts like it too.
But we'll see whether or not he's acting that way at the debate on Thursday. I want to make sure we share this with everybody before the end of the program. It's widely believed that Joe Biden may or may not be finding ways to enhance his performance at these debates. Trump has mentioned a drug test in the past. Now a Texas representative, Congressman Rooney Jackson of the Lone Star State, told Fox News he's sending a letter demanding that Biden get a drug test. Listen to this. This is cut numero uno on tonight's sheet.
I have sent 5 letters previously asking for President Biden to submit to a cognitive test, very similar to the one that President Trump got while he was president, and all 5 of those letters have gone completely ignored. So tomorrow I'm sending a letter to President Biden, to his physician, Dr. O'Connor, and I'm CCing his entire cabinet. And it's embarrassing that I have to do this, and it's really embarrassing as a former White House physician to have to do something like this, but we don't have any choice based on what's going on. But I'm going to be demanding on behalf of many millions of concerned Americans right now that he submit to a drug test before and after this debate, specifically looking for performance-enhancing drugs. Because we've seen recently in his State of the Union address that there was a Joe Biden that came out that was not similar at all to what we see on a day-to-day basis for the last 3.5 years. And there's just really no way to explain that other than he was on something, that they'd given him medications. I feel like this is probably what's going on over this week at Camp David. You know, he's going to be at Camp David for a full week before the debate. Part of that is probably experimenting with, just getting the doses just right, because, they have to treat his cognition. They have to give him something to help him think straighter. They have to give him something to wake him up, for his alertness. And then, he's been agitated. We see that all the time, and that's a common symptom or sign of this cognitive disorder that he seems to be suffering from. And so they're probably going to give him something to take the edge off that as well.
And let's qualify the expert here for a second, Rooney Jackson. Rooney Jackson's just not another member of Congress, right? He's not a bartender like Ocasio-Cortez, right? He's a retired Rear Admiral of the United States Navy, okay? He attended Texas A&M University and got a degree in marine biology. And then he went to the University of Texas Medical School and got his doctorate in medicine back in 1995, and he served as Trump's White House physician. So this is not a slouch. This is an objectively intelligent person who I think on Fox News there, talking to Maria Bartiromo, gave you a very clear and concise explanation of why he's asking for Biden to submit to a drug test. This isn't just a GOP partisan trying to score points. There's clearly something going on with this guy. The media wants to call it cheap fakes. We talked about this earlier in the program. These aren't cheap fakes. If it was fraudulent video, they would just call it a deep fake, but it's not. They're calling it cheap instead of fake because it's real. It's real. This is the reality of Joe Biden's condition as we head into this extremely consequential presidential election. So the American people have a right to know not only whether or not Joe Biden has the ability to lead physically and mentally for another 4 years, but why is it that he only ever seems lucid when he's on a debate stage? We saw this in 2000, right? He's mangled every possible syllable on the campaign trail. Trump, I still thought, did better at the debates, but he certainly was more lucid than he is in his day-to-day existence. So we'll find out soon enough. We'll see what happens on Thursday night. You can be sure that I'm going to watch it. It might be painful. I'm preparing for that. I'm going to have to stop at the liquor store, right, before the debate to make sure I have all my adequate supplies in case I need them.
You're going to need to make sure that you have the essential vitamins and minerals inside of you in order to be able to watch this.
Absolutely. It's all part of my self-prescribed health regimen.
Yep.
That I need to be able to do what I do for the listeners of the Matt Rooney Show, which is sometimes absorb this stuff so you don't have to. Because there's going to come a point in that debate where some network anchor hack is going to ask a question that's going to make you want to throw your remote control at the television and break it. I will continue watching it after your expensive flat screen television is already lying on the floor in pieces. That's my promise to you. Thank you for sticking with us through another episode of the Matt Rooney Show, ladies and gents. The time has now come where I must say goodbye. It hurts me to do so, but I have to. We will be back next Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard, as we always are here on 1210 WPHT. Stay tuned for Walter Sterling, who's coming up here in just a moment. But until we talk again, I want you to stay safe, stay sane, and keep fighting for this greatest nation in God's creation. It's worth it.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800